I'm Neil Levon of the T-Bolts Radio Network, and I'm here with my broadcast colleague Julian Barron to preview tonight's game between the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts and the Bethesda Big Train. Julian, big game for both teams, particularly for the Thunderbolts, who are on the verge of their first championship in 13 years.
Yes, a huge opportunity for the T-Bolts tonight, not only to get a championship victory, but also to do it at home, something that they have not been able to do in over a decade. A huge feat for them if they can pull that off here tonight at Montgomery Blair Stadium, and they're going to rely on Zeke Gongola to make that happen for them tonight. We saw last night a great performance from Nick Charlson. He went out and absolutely dominated the Big Train, much to the surprise of many of the Big Train fans. They're accustomed to winning, but last night a different story for them at their home field, a big blow to their ego.
Now, Julian, last night the Thunderbolts did just about everything right, and they got 7 shutout innings from Charlson. Tonight, a different story. The Big throwing one of their ace pitchers, Dalton Ponce.
Yes, and Dalton Ponce is a guy that has a really big arsenal. He throws a variety of pitches off speed, and his fastball is very effective when he has command of it. We've seen him a number of times this season, and when he is on, he is on. So the key for the T-Bolts tonight is going to be very simple. Make contact. If you make contact, good things will happen, and I think that's the name of the game for Doug Reamer's squad.
Now, the Bolts have not defeated the Big Train here at Blair all season long. Does that make a difference going into tonight's game, do you think?
Well, I think to these players, it's a new season. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. Last night doesn't even matter. Tonight is all that matters. And if they can get a win tonight, nothing else in this entire season will have any footprint other than this win tonight to clinch the championship victory.
All right, finally, my key, I'm looking to the first couple of innings because that sets the tone. And if the Thunderbolts can stay in the game, take an early lead maybe, or just actually stay in the game with the Big Train, then I think things may look good for them.
I think things will look good. As you said, they can find a way to stay in this game early, make sure things don't get out of control if for some reason the T-Bolts start to have trouble on the mound. Now, what we'll see tonight most likely from the T-Bolts is, like I said before, an emphasis on hitting. If they can get their 1, 2, and 3 batters to find a way to put the bat on the baseball and maybe sneak some ground balls through the infield early on Dalton Ponce, that may be the key to getting on top of a very talented pitcher and maybe lowering his confidence just a little bit.
And if the Bolts lose this, then we play tomorrow at Shirley Povich Field for the championship in Game 3 of the series. For Julian Barron, I'm Neil Levon, Bolts Radio Network and Takoma Park City TV.
Hello, everybody. I'm Julian Barron for T-Bolts Media and Takoma Park City TV alongside the GM Thunderbolts, Brian Brewer, and we're going to talk a little bit about Nick Charlson last night, who went into Bethesda and absolutely dominated the Big Train. 7 shutout innings, only 2 hits. A really incredible performance, and it's not every day that we see that from a pitcher going into Bethesda coming from another team.
No, absolutely. He was able to throw 3 pitches for a strike, and I think that was the game plan going in. We knew Big Train had some heavy hitters with fastballs. They hit the fastball really well, and it was kind of the game plan that even though he was new to the team and didn't have as many innings as some of the other guys, that he's able to mix in his off speed. He was able to throw his changeup. They stacked the lineup last night with lefties, which kind of his breaking ball, but he was able to command his changeup and broke a few bats along the way. He was able to go in and out with his fastball, and yeah, I coach last night on the way home, and he was following it on Twitter, and they're very excited to get him down there next fall.
Now, Charlson seems like the type of guy that flies under the radar, not coming from a prestigious school necessarily in terms of baseball, not a D1 school, and of course we got him mid-season. Tell me a little bit about, number 1, the chip on the shoulder for some of the players that come up in that position, and number 2, how the T-Bolts have been able to capitalize on finding guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone out of my way to build as many relationships as I can with different college coaches, and we were thin on arms about a month ago. We had some guys shut down for injuries and some innings limits that were reached, and I reached out to a bunch of guys, and the Queens College coach Andrew Knight down there, he got back to me. He said they had a guy who was coming in. He's a JUCO guy, 2 years of JUCO, put up good numbers, and he was pitching down in Southern Virginia, North Carolina, and he was doing really well, but it wasn't of the caliber of the Ripken League. So he said, if we wanted him, they would love to send him up here, and but for the small town guys, and he was a guy I'm sure backwoods North Carolina, deep Southern drawl. Couldn't understand him real well, but just a really good kid, really humble, and he definitely had a chip in his shoulder, and he definitely wanted to come up here and compete against some of the bigger time schools, and he made the most of his opportunity.
Brian, thanks so much. I'm Julian Barron here for T-Bolts Media and Takoma Park City TV, alongside first baseman and outfielder for the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts, Tony Gallo, who has had a prolific season to this point. Last night, the T-Bolts were able to knock off the Bethesda Big Train at Shirley Povich Field by a score of 9-0. Tony was a part of that victory. Tony, tell me a little bit about how big of a win that is for you guys in this championship series.
It's really big coming out and winning the first game of the championship, especially against these guys. They're, of course, they had such a great record, and coming out and beating them at their place first game was huge. We had a lot of great at-bats, a lot of long counts, a lot of crucial walks, and a lot of great swings, especially by Lucas and Brady and a lot of other guys,
And a lot of guys on this Bethesda Big Train pitching staff, they have a little bit more to their arsenal than other pitchers in this Cal Ripken League. Does your approach change when you face Big Train pitching, or does it stay the same no matter what?
Definitely does not change. We're still looking for pitches over the plate, looking for fastballs to drive, and just looking to get on base as much as possible and try to put pressure on.
Now, when you're facing a Bethesda pitcher, I'm Julian Barron here for T-Bolts Media and Takoma Park City TV, alongside first baseman and outfielder for the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts, Tony Gallo, who has had a prolific season to this point. Last night, the T-Bolts were able to knock off the Bethesda Big Train at Shirley Povich Field by a score of 9-0. Tony was a part of that victory. I'm Julian Barron here for T-Bolts Media and Takoma Park City TV, alongside first baseman and outfielder for the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts, Tony Gallo, who has had a prolific season to this point. Last night, the T-Bolts were able to knock off the Bethesda Big Train at Shirley Povich Field by a score of 9-0. Tony was a part of that victory. Tony, tell me a little bit about how big of a win that is for you guys in this championship series.
It's really big coming out and winning the first game of the championship, especially against these guys. They're, of course, they had such a great record, and coming out and beating them at their place first game was huge. We had a lot of great at-bats, a lot of long counts, a lot of crucial walks, and a lot of great swings, especially by Lucas and Brady and a lot of other guys,
And a lot of guys on this Bethesda Big Train pitching staff, they have a little bit more to their arsenal than other pitchers in this Cal Ripken League. Does your approach change when you face Big Train pitching, or does it stay the same no matter what?
Definitely does not change. We're still looking for pitches over the plate, looking for fastballs to drive, and just looking to get on base as much as possible and try to put pressure on.
Now, when you're facing a Bethesda pitcher, do you think about perhaps his record, his ERA, the things he's done in the past, or do you go in with a clean slate? You don't worry about the scouting report. It's just a matter of that at-bat.
Definitely think a little bit about scouting report, what they've done, and looking at how many walks, how many strikeouts, stuff like that. But along with ERA, I think we're all going out there just thinking we can hit anybody who they throw, and we're just looking to get pitches over the plate to drive, and everyone will do that. So.
Now we're coming up on the end of the summer here in Silver Spring, and Tony, you have been a huge part of this T-Bolts team, win or lose. Tell me a little bit about how you felt this summer, your experience, positive, negative, and just how you feel headed out back to school in the fall.
This was an awesome experience. I had so much fun. A lot of these guys are all great guys. They're all great players, and it was really a great atmosphere to be out in front of all these fans, and it's always fun to be here.
Tony, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Everybody, and welcome to the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts playoff baseball, coming to you on the T-Bolts Radio Network. I'm Neil Levant, Julian Barron, as we get set for this second and pivotal game in the three-game championship final series between the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts and the Bethesda Big Train. And Julian, this is a game in which I don't think the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts, their staff, their coaches, their managers, their fans, and certainly their broadcasters did not expect to find them in.
Well, I'll tell you what, Neil, it's always great to experience the unexpected when it's positive, and tonight it's certainly positive for the T-Bolts as they face the Bethesda Big Train on the brink of eliminating the Big Train and taking the Cal Ripken League crown. But we've still got 9 innings to play tonight, and this will determine whether or not we will play tomorrow and play that coveted Game 3 of the championship series. But last night, Neil, Nick Charlson on the mound for the T-Bolts. I said it on Twitter, I'll say it again, the performance of the century.
He was absolutely fantastic. No runs over 7 innings, in and out of trouble. To me, the best inning was when he stranded a runner on third with no out and retired the next 3 batters. Let's quickly, we're going to wait and pause for the national anthem. And after the anthem, we will go ahead and give you the lineup as quickly as we can, and then we should be ready to begin tonight's Game 2. Zeke Gongola and Dalton Potts. So here's the national anthem.
As we get set for this top of the first inning, this first pitch of tonight's ball game between the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts and the Bethesda Big Train. On the mound tonight for the T-Bolts, trying to carry over what was a strong performance yesterday by Nick Charlson, is Zeke Gongola, and he's got a tall task ahead of him facing this very talented Big Train lineup. And let's tell you about that lineup as they come to bat here at the top of the first inning. It'll be Gio Diaz. He's the second baseman leading off. Christian Jane batting second. Then Kobe Kato, the third baseman, batting third. Batting in the cleanup spot, the catcher Matt Thomas. Batting fifth, the left fielder Drew Hemrock. Batting sixth, the designated hitter Tate Soderstrom. Batting seventh, the shortstop Keith Torres. Batting eighth, the center fielder Darius Foster. And batting ninth, the first baseman Cade Hunter. And for the T-Bolts, leading off is Corey Rozier. He's in left field, followed by Brady Paree, the DH. Then batting third, the first baseman Tony Gallo. In right field and batting fourth is Lyle Miller-Green. Batting fifth, the third baseman Lucas Donlin. Batting sixth, the catcher Luke Traynor. Batting seventh, the shortstop Ian McMillan. Batting eighth, the second baseman Dalton Martin, and batting ninth and finishing off the Silver Spring Takoma lineup is the center fielder Cole Freese.
So Zeke Gongola on the mound. Zeke's last start I don't think was as good as he has been. That was the game against the DC Grays on Saturday. Only pitched 2 2/3 innings. Gave up, I think, 3 walks in that game. I know he wants to cut that down, and he's never faced the Big Train, but he's been one of the Thunderbolts' most stingy pitchers when it's come to allowing runners on base, and that's what the Thunderbolts really have to do tonight.
Well, we'll see what Zeke Gongola can do against Gio Diaz, who's getting ready to begin this ball game here on the T-Bolts radio network. And Gio Diaz, the big righty, will stand in against Zeke Gongola. And Gongola looks in for the sign from Luke Traynor. The first pitch on the way to the plate. This one down and away for a ball. The count is 1-0 on Gio Diaz. Diaz batting here and coming out of St. Mary's College, a native of Brentwood, California. Here comes the 1-0. That misses inside. It's now 2-0 on Diaz, who's sporting a .250 batting average in this postseason.
The big train has been taking a lot of pitches, and I think they're, at least for the first couple of innings, going to wait out the Thunderbolts and make them throw strikes.
Here's the 2-0, and that misses up high and inside, and all of a sudden it's 3-0 in favor of Gio Diaz. Neil Gongola does not want to fall behind here.
Well, he doesn't want to walk a lot of batters, that's for sure, and he doesn't want to put his first batter on if he can help it.
Here comes the 3-0, and that will miss inside ever so slightly. So a 4-pitch walk to begin this game, issued to Gio Diaz by Zeke Gongola, and now it's Christian Jane.
Jane has been moved up in the lineup to second. Last night, Jane was batting in the 5th position, so he's been moved up.
Man on first, nobody down for Jane, and Gongola looks in and gets the sign from his catcher, Luke Traynor. Now winds and delivers to the plate, and that's a ball down low, just missed, and the count is 1-0 on Christian Jane.
So Zeke's going to have to adjust because he's not getting that strike call where he wants it.
1-0 the count with a man at first and nobody down. Throw over to first, not in time to get Gio Diaz. Christian Jane in the postseason, 1 RBI, no homers. Only has 1 hit, 1 for 8. And the 1-0 pitch to Jane is on the way. Runner goes. This one's a strike. Fires down to second base, but not in time. Luke Traynor gave it his best effort, but the throw was a little bit high and late. So, advancing down to second base in the steal is Gio Diaz.
Yes, he had that stolen off Zeke Gongola. Zeke was still in his windup when Diaz took off. Good play by Diaz to get to second base and in scoring position.
And they count 1-1 here on Christian Jane after the called strike on the steal. Here comes the pitch, shows bunt, and that will be a strike. The count is now 1-2 on Christian Jane. Man at second, nobody down. Scoreless ball game, top of the first. Second game of this championship series. If the T-Bolts win, they clinch the title. 1-2 the count with nobody down and a man at second. Here comes the pitch. This one put on the ground to the right side, playable by the first baseman Gallo. He takes it over to the bag himself and records the out for the first one of the inning, but advancing down to third is Gio Diaz.
So Diaz at third base with less than 1 out, or less than 2 outs, yeah, with 1 out, excuse me, and he represents a threat to score the go-ahead run, and Kobe Kato, the third baseman, coming up to bat.
Kato, a very dangerous hitter. We saw him in the regular season put up great numbers. In this postseason, he's 3 for 6. No homers, no RBIs, but he's a guy that knows how to get on base.
Infielders coming in. Here comes Dalton Martin moving in. Gallo on the infield grass. Lucas Donlin even with the bag at third, close to the grass, now on it.
And the first pitch to Kato is a called strike on the off-speed pitch. The count is 0-1 with 1 down and a man at third.
So baseball is a game of reaction, and we'll see if Gongola can react and find the pitches he needs to throw for strikes.
Here's the 0-1. This ball put on the ground down to second. Runner holds at third, and Dalton Martin throws to first to record the second out. So a nice play by Dalton Martin, and Neil, it pays off that he came in.
Well, Doug Reamer made the right call as he's been making calls so far in the series.
And that'll give way to the cleanup batter, Matt Thomas, with 2 down and a man at third. Top of the first inning, scoreless ball game, but Bethesda trying to change that with a runner at third base. Zeke Gongola on the mound for the T-Bolts, looks in and delivers to the plate. And there's a called strike on a breaking ball that just caught the outside corner of the zone, the count 0-1.
Zeke from Montgomery College, Germantown, joined the team a little bit around mid-season and has been a welcome addition on the hill.
Gongola delivers the 0-1, and there's a called strike at the knees, and it's quickly 0-2 on Matt Thomas.
We have a big crowd coming in. They're still arriving. It's going to be a big crowd tonight. Lots of big train people here. Lots of Silver Spring Takoma Park Thunderbolts people here.
Maybe the biggest crowd I've ever seen here. It is packed to the brim. Here's the 0-2, and this ball sent towards the middle. Going over is the shortstop McMillan, but he cannot get to it. That's a single up the middle, and it's an RBI for Matt Thomas as Big Train goes on top 1-0 here at the top of the first.
So the Big Train plates a run on the walk.
RBI RBI single for Matt Thomas, and now it's Drew Hemrock. Yeah, that ball skipped up the middle. Looked for a moment like it may be slow enough to be playable for McMillan, but it wasn't. So Hemrock stands in with a man at first and 2 down. First pitch to him is bunted softly back to the mound, going over Gongola. Bare hands, but he has no play. And so Gongola holds onto the ball rather than throwing it away, perhaps. And reaching at first base with an infield single is Drew Hemrock in the bunt.
Nice bunt. Gongola charged it, didn't really have much of a play, and like you said, didn't want to throw it around. So all of this with 2 outs, which is always difficult when you're the team that's getting scored upon. But really what they want to do is just get out of this now with just the 1 run.
Well, the key here for Gongola, just making sure that he stays calm and doesn't push the envelope as he faces Tate Soderstrom. Runners at first and second with 2 down, Bethesda leading 1-0. And Gongola sets and delivers to Soderstrom. There's a called strike in the inside corner, the count 0-1. Soderstrom in this postseason is 0 for 6, no homers and 1 RBI. He did get a sac fly. An 0-1 count on his head with runners on first and second. Here comes the pitch, and that'll miss down and in. So it's now even 1-1 on Tate Soderstrom.
I would be very careful here for the double steal.
Certainly a possibility. Bethesda is historically aggressive on the base paths.
With 2 outs, not much to risk, really.
Here comes the 1-1, and that'll be swung on and foul tipped into the mitt. So it's now 1-2 on Tate Soderstrom. Runners on first and second with 2 down, and the T-Bolts trailing Bethesda 1-0 here in the top of the first inning of this second game of the championship series. If the T-Bolts win, they get the title. If Bethesda wins, we play a game 3 tomorrow. Here comes the 1-2 pitch from Gongola. There's a called strike at the knees, and Gongola lays down Tate Soderstrom with a backwards K. And he strands 2 runners, but Bethesda does nab a 1-0 lead at the top of the first inning. We will be back in just a moment right here at the T-Bolts Radio Network, powered by CQ.
For the Thunderbolts, the left fielder, number 12, Corey Rozier.
And return the favor, and we'll see how they do against a very good pitcher in Dalton Ponce.
Well, they have their work cut out for them here as Corey Rozier stands into the lefty's batter's box, and he's ready to go. And now I think we're going to have a signal from the home plate umpire, Paul Thompson, over to the mound to make sure that we're ready. And we are, as Corey Rozier digs in and Dalton Ponce gets set to go.
Ponce wearing number 1, not a number a pitcher usually wears.
Now we're seeing it more and more, pitchers wearing those single-digit numbers as Ponce delivers his first pitch of the night. And there's a called strike and a nice ball that tucked inside. The count is 0-1, just barely caught that corner of the zone. Ponce sets and delivers the 0-1 pitch to Corey Rozier. This one tapped on the ground high to the right side, but that'll go foul. And so it's now 0-2 on Corey Rozier. Rozier came into this season rather late, joined the team just a few weeks ago. Played with the T-Bolts last season, made a late arrival in 2019. Goes to Chipola College down in Florida. He's got an 0-2 count on his head as he adjusts the batting gloves and steps back into the box. He's ready to go. Dalton Ponce gets the sign and now winds and delivers to the plate on the 0-2 pitch. That's up high, and Corey Rozier lays off. They count 1-2. Rozier steps back in. And Dalton Ponce ready to go. Here comes the 1-2. A big swing and a miss. And there's the first K of the night for Dalton Ponce. One down.
Number 6 from High Point, Brady.
And now it's Brady Puri coming to the plate. Puri last night was on the mound for the T-Bolts and did a pretty darn nice job, Neil.
He did. He got through the inning. It wasn't the prettiest. He threw a lot of balls, but he managed to get through it. But it's his hitting that we're looking at. 5 for 11, 455 with 5 RBIs in the playoffs.
First pitch to him is taken low and outside for a ball. The count is 1-0 on the High Point product, Brady Puri.
Who's DHing tonight.
Tony Gallo on deck, that potential MVP candidate. Here comes the 1-0. This one's fouled straight back. And the count is even 1-1 with nobody on and 1 down. And the crowd continuing to file in here. More and more people. Just when you think there's enough people, there's more.
Yeah, I haven't seen such a crowd here in a very, very long time. People looking for seats.
And here comes the 1-1 pitch. This one put on the ground to the left side. Playable on a hop for Kobe Kato, who fires over to first in time to record the second out on Brady Puri. And that gives way to Tony Gallo.
Well, here's a guy who came through last night with a 2-out RBI single after going, I think, 0 for 14 or 15 in the playoffs. This is a guy the Thunderbolts need to come in. He's got 1 RBI, so he's 1 for 12. He needs to start hitting, and if he does, the Thunderbolts' chances go up dramatically.
First pitch to Gallo is a called strike down the middle. The count is 0-1 on Gallo with 2 down and nobody on. Bethesda leading 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. And Dalton Ponce delivers the 0-1 pitch. This one is sent towards the middle and through for a base hit. And there's the first base runner of the night for the T-Bolts. Tony Gallo gets aboard with a 1-out, or rather a 2-out single.
Solid single up the middle for Tony Gallo, and hopefully that's a good sign from him that he's ready to make contact and produce. And now here's a guy coming up, Lyle Miller Green, that Doug Reamer has put into as the cleanup batter. Based on what he's seen in batting practice, he thinks he's ready to explode.
Well, let's see if he can do that here with 2 down and a man at first. Tony Gallo represents the tying run. And the first pitch to Lyle Miller Green is down and away. The count 1-0 on the Lake Braddock prospect, and now going down to second base uncontested is Tony Gallo. How about that? Bethesda was caught completely off guard, and Tony Gallo takes second base without even a flinch by Thomas.
Wow, that's interesting. Just caught him napping.
That's the best time to catch him.
So now a runner in scoring position for Lyle Miller Green.
And Dalton Ponce getting ready to deliver the 1-0. Here it comes, and this one's outside. The count is 2-0. And interesting to note, Tony Gallo was scurrying off second base, and Dalton Ponce almost looked back as he made the pitch. And perhaps this is a method of getting in Ponce's head.
Well, we'll see. Ponce, a very good pitcher.
Runner at second, 2 down, and a 2-0 count on Lyle Miller Green. Tying run at second base, bottom of the first inning. Ponce delivers, and Miller Green will take it for a called strike on the off-speed in the inside corner. The count 2-1.
On deck is Lucas Donlin, who has just been on fire for the Thunderbolts. 3 home runs and a single and double last night to go with his 3rd home run.
He has been superb. And the count 2-1 on Lyle Miller Green. Dalton Ponce sets. He's ready to go. And now a pump throw over to second base. He does not actually make the throw, trying to get Tony Gallo back to the bag. So Dalton Ponce trying to make sure that runner at second base doesn't get in his head too much. Lyle Miller Green awaiting the pitch on the 2-1 count. Ponce looks to second and now delivers to the plate. And that one's up high. And so the count now is 3-1 on Lyle Miller Green.
So Ponce being very careful with Miller Green.
He's being careful with Miller Green and Tony Gallo. He keeps looking down to second base right before he pitches. 3-1 the count on Lyle Miller Green with a tying run at second base. Here comes the pitch, and that one's up and in, and there's a walk issued to Lyle Miller Green.
So a walk to Lyle Miller Green, the first issued by Dalton Ponce, and that brings up Lucas Donlin.
Well, it's Donlin's world, and we're all just living in it because he has been incredible in this postseason. With runners on first and second, the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first, and 2 down. The first pitch on the way to Lucas Donlin, and there's a fastball called strike at the knees, the count 0-1.
I asked Lucas's mom, who's here tonight, what she's been feeding him. She just sort of chuckled. Said he's not a big red meat guy. He does like pork.
0-1 the count with 2 down. Here comes the pitch. This one is sent to the right side, out of play, foul. And so it's now 0-2 on Lucas Donlin. I'll tell you, Neil, I don't eat red meat, but I can't hit like that.
I do, and I can't hit like that.
What gives?
Well, you get into these grooves, you know, and it's just everything falls in. He said he's seeing the ball well. Everything is, you know, when things go great, they go great.
0-2 the count with 2 down and runners on first and second. Dalton Ponce sends it to the plate. Runner goes down to third, and it doesn't matter because it's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. And Donlin will go down on the backwards K. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Dalton Ponce, and we go to the top of the second inning. Bethesda leading 1-0 on the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ. Radio Network, presented by CQ. We go to the top of the second inning. The T-Bolts trail Bethesda 1-0, and Zeke Gongola will try and hold the big train scoreless in the top of this frame.
Yeah, I think it's an important inning for him to do that. You don't want the lead to build.
Well, it'll be the 7, 8, and 9 batters for Bethesda. Keith Torres, Darius Foster, and Cade Hunter. Zeke Gongola, who gave up a run in the previous inning, sets and delivers the first pitch to Keith Torres, and this one's fouled straight back. The count is 0-1.
So Paul Thompson behind the plate tonight, Joe Bloxton, the umpire at first, Reed Joyner at third.
Torres stands back in out of Waipahu, Hawaii, and he takes the next pitch for a ball. The count even 1-1.
just a bit high on that curveball, I'd say. Good idea, just a little off on the location.
And here comes the even count delivery on the 1-1. This one tapped on the ground down to short. Played on a hop by McMillan. He fires across in time to record the out on Keith Torres, 1 down.
So a promising start for Gongola.
Yeah, Gongola's been very deliberate with his delivery, and he has not let things phase him. Even in the first inning when he gave up a run, it could have been much worse, Neil.
Oh, it could have.
And now Darius Foster stands in. Foster with an opportunity to get the big train rolling here in the top of the second inning with 1 down and nobody aboard. Foster waits for the first pitch. Here it comes, and that's down and in for a ball to count 1-0 on Darius Foster, who played at Contra Costa College in California this past season, and he's headed to Cal State Sacramento next year. Here comes the 1-0. And that misses outside, so it's now 2-0 on Darius Foster.
Foster hit 204 during the regular season and in the league championship series.
Here comes the 2-0, and that'll be taken down and away for a ball. The count now 3-0, and Gongola falling behind.
Foster's a guy who draws a lot of walks.
Well, he may just do that here, as the 3-0 pitch from Zeke Gongola is on the way to the plate, and that's taken high and outside. It's a 4-pitch walk to Darius Foster. A man at first with 1 down for Cade Hunter.
So the second walk from Gongola, and he doesn't want to start putting people on the bases with these guys.
No, he does not. That is the kiss of death.
Hunter hitting 250, 248 in the playoffs. 1 RBI.
And here comes the first pitch to Hunter. This one's lifted towards left center field, going over is Cole Freeze. He makes a running grab. A nice play by Cole Freeze to get there in time. He was running in stride, and he's able to get to the ball. 2 down.
He has just been fantastic out there as a defensive center fielder. He has been good.
And now, with 2 down and a man at first, it's Gio Diaz coming to the plate. Diaz drew a walk back in the first. He's the top of this big train order. Gongola sets and now fires back to first, not in time to get the speedy Darius Foster. Foster rebuilds his lead with 2 down. Gongola looks to first and now looks to home plate. And now a throw back to first once again, not in time. Zeke Gongola ready to go. Here comes the pitch. Runner goes halfway, and this ball's lifted towards deep right center field. Going back is Cole Freeze on the run. He dives, and he makes the catch. Cole Freeze on a diving play out towards the warning track in right center field. Robs Gio Diaz of extra bases and in all likelihood an RBI.
Oh, man, that was a great catch. If the first catch was good, this was highlight film material as he dove into the right center field gap to take a 2-base hit away from Gio Diaz, and he gets a hero's welcome as he comes back to the dugout. And I always say it's the fielding plays that bring fans out of their seats.
And he deservingly so gets that huge cheer from this Montgomery Blair crowd as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And by a hair and a thread, Cole Freeze keeps this game 1-0 in favor of Bethesda on the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ.
And so we're back for the top of the second inning here at Blair Stadium for the Bolts and the Big Train. The Big Train leads at 1-0. They scored a run in the first inning on an RBI single from Matt Thomas. And now it'll be the Thunderbolts with Luke Trainery and McMillan, Dalton Martin. And here to tell you all about it is Julian Barron.
Thank you so much, Neil. Luke Trainer stepping into the box, ready to go for his first at-bat of the night. And now we're going to get a new baseball as Paul Thompson, the home plate umpire, goes over, signals, and now he's ready to go. Luke Trainer awaiting the first pitch from Dalton Ponce at the bottom of the second inning, and that'll miss down and away for a ball. The count 1-0. And so it's 1-0 Bethesda here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. Could be 2-0 if not for Cole Freeze. And here comes the 1-0. This one's lifted towards left field, and it'll be right at the left fielder, Drew Hemrock, who makes the catch in the line drive, one down.
Yeah, Luke likes to do that, to go the opposite field. That just hit a bit too hard, and right at the left fielder, Hemrock.
And Ian McMillan comes to the plate with one down and nobody aboard. And Neil, I still cannot get over the play by Cole Freeze.
Well, that was a big play, and we'll see in the game how important that is, depending upon developments here.
First pitch, and this one put on the ground softly left side. Kobe Cotto waiting, throwing across, and that is in time to record the out on Ian McMillan. So one pitch, and now two down here as Ian McMillan only takes one to go down.
Well, Ponce throwing just 19 pitches, and as advertised, is a good pitcher.
And now the coveted matchup of the evening, Dalton versus Dalton. It's Dalton Martin versus Dalton Ponce with two down and nobody aboard.
A little different spelling, though. Dalton's with a U, Dalton Ponce with just an A.
That's true. First pitch on the way, and that'll miss down and in, the count 1-0. Dalton Martin, the terror of Tusculum, as I've called him through the season. When he gets contact, he can do some real damage.
He's been hitting in the playoffs.
Here comes the 1-0, and that misses outside. It's now 2-0 on Dalton Martin.
So far in the playoffs, Dalton's hitting .400, 2 for 5 with an RBI.
And here comes the 2-0 pitch to Dalton Martin, and this will be put on the ground to the right side foul. A little chopper that went to the right of first baseman, or rather to the left of first baseman Cade Hunter. That's his left, our right.
So just a couple of single seats here and there. And there are people still coming in to watch this one.
And here comes the 2-1 pitch with two down and nobody on. There's a called strike on that inside corner. The count now 2-2 as Dalton Ponce gets one back. So Dalton Martin taps home plate. He's ready to go. And the 2-2 pitch on the way from Ponce. That'll be taken just inside as Martin's able to hold up his swing. And it's now full 3-2.
Cole Freeze, the center fielder, whom we've been praising effusively, is on deck.
3-2 the count with two down and nobody on. Ponce delivers, and that's a called strike. And I'm going to say that Dalton Martin knew it as he was jogging away. Thought maybe he would get first base, but he wasn't too surprised to see that it was a K. And so it's the third strikeout of the night for Dalton Ponce. We go to the top of the third inning. 1-0 Bethesda on the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ. Network presented by CQ. We head to the top of the third inning, and Christian Jane, Kobe Kato, and Matt Thomas coming to the plate for Bethesda in a game that they lead 1-0. And the first pitch to Christian Jane from Zeke Gongola is a ball inside, the count 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch from Gongola on the way to the plate. This one ripped foul to the right side. And so it is now even 1-1 on Christian Jane. Jane, his first time up, grounded out to the first baseman, Tony Gallo. As he sets and waits for the 1-1 pitch from Zeke Gongola, who winds and delivers to the plate. And this will be swung on and fouled out of play.
If you look over left field, you can see the volunteer fire department and the firemen are all out watching this game.
That they are. It's a great game to watch, no doubt about it. Second one of the championship series, and here comes
a pretty good view.
The 1-2 pitch. This one fouled straight back, and so we'll do it again. Christian Jane, followed by Kobe Kato, Matt Thomas. Bethesda leads this game 1-0. T-Bolts win, they get the title. Bethesda wins, we play tomorrow. Next pitch, fouled off to the left side, and it remains 1-2.
This game also being broadcast by Takoma Park Television. So if you're not able to listen in, you have to go away and you're in front of a TV. They're there.
And the 1-2 pitch from Zeke Gongola on the way. This one tapped to the ground right side. Nice grab by Gallo. He fires to first in time to record the out. Nice cover by Zeke Gongola getting there in time. And so Gongola makes a really nice play, getting to the bag in time to receive the throw from Tony Gallo. And that gives way to Kobe Kato with one down and nobody aboard. Kato, his first time up, grounded out to the second baseman, Dalton Martin. And Gongola gets the sign from his catcher trainer, now winds and delivers to the plate. And there's a curveball called strike at the top of the zone, the count 0-1. Kobe Kato absolutely prolific in the regular season. So far in the postseason, 3 for 7. And here comes the 0-1. This one tapped on the ground down to second base. Dalton Martin has it, fires to first in time to record the second out. And so with 2 down, that'll give way to Matt Thomas, and Zeke Gongola doing a great job of inducing ground balls, Neil.
Yeah, he's having a good inning, especially anytime you get Kobe Kato out. You have to say that's a good inning. Here's Matt Thomas, who had a 2-strike count and delivered the single that drove in the first run of the game.
So the Bethesda faithful trying to start a big train chant. I don't think that's going to slide here. The first pitch is down and in for a ball. The count 1-0 on Matt Thomas.
Takoma crowds are much more demure.
1-0 pitch on the way, and there's a called strike of the knees, the count 1-1. And man, oh man, the Bolts chants are coming out in response. We're going to have some back and forth. Oh, man.
All right. You don't hear this very often here.
Here's the 1-1. This ball lifted to right center field. That's a gapper. It's going to fall at the base of the wall and roll up against it. Going over to get it is Cole Freese. He fires into the cutoff man, Dalton Martin. And so they will hold the runner at second base, Matt Thomas. He's 2 for 2, and the primary source of this Bethesda offense with 2 down.
He is. The only other hit is a bunt by the man coming up, Drew Hamrock.
And so the T-Bolts Birds are out in full fashion tonight as the chants continue below us. And with 2 down and a man at second, Bethesda leads this game 1-0. Top of the third, it'll be Drew Hamrock, like Neil said. Zeke Gongola looks to second and now sends it to the plate. This one fouled straight back. And the count is 0-1 on Drew Hamrock. Hamrock coming to the Cal Ripken League from Roswell, Georgia, a northern suburb of Atlanta. Goes to the University of Virginia, so he's a Cavalier. Man at second, 2 down, and here comes the 0-1. That'll be taken down and away, and the count is now even 1-1 on Drew Hamrock. Hemrock in this postseason is 4 for 7 with 2 RBIs. And the 1-1 pitch from Zeke Gongola all the way to the plate, and that misses up and in. So it's now 2-1 on Drew Hemrock, the Bethesda left fielder.
So with a runner on second and 2 outs, Gongola has to go after Hamrock here
and
make sure the double's wasted.
That's for sure. Here comes the 2-1 pitch to the plate, and a big swing and a miss. Zeke Gongola pulled the string on that one, and the count is 2-2. A nice slider down and away. And these chants are just going back and forth here.
Good-natured so far.
Let's see if it stays that way.
Yes, depending upon the game.
2-2 pitch on the way, and this one's fouled off to the right, so we'll do it again. Neil, I know your buddy Walt is sitting down at the crowd tonight. He's from Philly, and Philly fans don't have a very good reputation in terms of keeping their composure.
He's tried to get the T-Bolts fans up and at him. He was there doing it last night in Bethesda. Maybe he'll have better luck tonight.
2-2 pitch on the way to the plate, and this one's lifted towards right center field. That's going to get down, and it's going to roll into right center field. Rounding second and scoring is rounding third and scoring is Matt Thomas, and pulling up at second base is Drew Hemrock with an RBI double.
So 2 strike hits are plaguing Zeke Gongola here in the first and the third innings, and they're taking him to the opposite field, so he might be leaving that outside pitch up a bit.
Man at second, 2 down, and now Zeke Gongola faces Tate Soderstrom, who struck out looking back in the first inning. 2-0 Bethesda here at the top of the third. Gongola winds and delivers to the plate. That misses down and in. And the count is 1-0 on Tate Soderstrom, who played for the Big Train last year, coming back as a veteran this year.
Well, the Bolts can't let the game get away from them. 1 or 2 runs, they're still in it. 3-4 is a different story.
1-0 pitch on the way, and that'll be a called strike in the outside corner. And Tate Soderstrom not happy about it. The count even 1-1. Neil, I hear there's a giveaway tonight, but it's only for Bethesda fans. A free T-Bolts branded muzzle.
Oh.
1-1 pitch on the way, and that one's tapped on the ground left side. Going over to get it cleanly is Donlin. He throws across a nice play to record the third out. So we go to the bottom of the third. A little bit of damage given up, but so far not too bad for Zeke Gongola. It's 2-0 Bethesda as we head to the bottom of the third on the T-Bolts Radio Network presented by CQ. By CQ. We head to the bottom of the third inning, and Dalton Ponce stepping back out onto the mound for Bethesda. He will try and sit down Cole Freeze, Corey Rozier, and Brady Perry, the 9-1 and 2 batters, in a game in which the Big Train lead 2-0.
Well, Zeke Gongola been pitching well, but he has given up some back-to-back hits, which has plagued him. Especially with 2 strikes and 2 outs. That really hurts when you're the team that does that.
The T-Bolts will try and take advantage of Dalton Ponce's mistakes. We know that Ponce is a very talented pitcher, but he has been fallible at some points this season.
Last time was June 27th when he was hammered around. I think he gave up 7 or 8 runs in that game.
Yeah, I believe so. I think it was 7 runs. So
But he's looking good tonight. You have to say so far he's looked very good.
Absolutely, but the T-Bolts trying to change that here at the bottom of the third inning. They will send Cole Freeze to begin it at the plate. And the first pitch from Dalton Ponce is on the way to the plate. That one bounces in for a ball. The count is 1-0. Cole Freeze now with his first at-bat of the night right here, but he had a tremendous play in center field to save a run.
Yes, this could have been a much different game.
And here comes the 1-0 pitch. This one's fouled off to the right side. Didn't mean to swing at it. He held it up, but it did hit his bat, so it's 1-1.
Now Luke Rettig is getting loose in the bullpen for the Thunderbolts. So last time out, Zeke pitched 2 2/3. So we'll see if he might do something similar here.
1-0 pitch is put up in the air right side and out of play. So it's now 1-2 on Cole Freeze. Freeze joining this team late in the year out of Millersville University, a native of Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. Dalton Ponce looks in for the sign. He's ready to go. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. This one sent foul to the right side again. So it remains 1-2 on Cole Freeze.
Looks like he's trying to do what the batters from the big train did, which was go to the opposite field.
Yes, and also waste Dalton Ponce's pitch count. Make sure that he fouls balls off and stays alive in these at-bats. And here comes the 1-2 pitch. This one sent towards shallow left center field. Backing up is Torres, and that one's going to fall in for a bloop single. So Cole Freeze gets aboard with nobody down, a leadoff hit.
That just blooped right in front of the left fielder Hamrock and behind the shortstop Keith Torres, who was going out. Darius Foster giving chase from center, but that one blooped in. So maybe that's a sign of a change of luck for the T-Bolts.
Well, there's only one way to be Rozier.
That's right.
As Corey Rozier comes to the plate with a man at first and nobody down. Infield comes in at third. Here comes the pitch, and this one sent to the right side, played by the second baseman Diaz, flipped to second for one, onto first, and they get the double play. So a very cleanly turned double play, 4-6-3, and there are two down.
So as quickly as the rally starts, it quickly ends on the double play.
And now it's Brady Perry coming to the plate. Brady Perry, his first time up, grounded out to the third baseman Kobe Kato. They say those double plays can be rally killers, but Brady Perry trying to change that here. First pitch is up high for a ball, the count 1-0. It's going to be so important tonight for the T-Bolts batters to make sure that they spend long amounts of time at the plate and make sure that Dalton Ponce pitches a lot. And the next pitch is down and away for a ball. The count now 2-0 on Brady Perry.
So the Thunderbolts with 2 hits tonight. The Big Train have 4.
And Ponce kicks and delivers the 2-0 pitch. That's way up and inside. And the count quickly 3-0 on Brady Perry. Neil, we're seeing that Dalton Ponce occasionally lacks control tonight.
Or he's, yeah, well, at least so far. Let's see how he does here.
Here's the 3-0. There's a called strike. Looked a little inside, but home plate umpire Paul Thompson had something else to say about it. It's 3-1.
So the Bolts looking for base runners. I would think Perry would be taking here if he possibly can.
Here's the 3-1 and another called strike right at the knees, and Brady Perry thought he had a walk. So it's now 3-2 from Dalton Ponce to Brady Perry. And here comes the pitch. There's a called strike 3.
Close pitch to take.
Brady Perry goes down to the backwards K. That is the 4th strikeout of the night for Dalton Ponce, and we go to the top of the 4th inning. T-Bolts trail 2-0 of the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ. welcome back to the T-Bolts Radio Network presented by CQ. We go top four. Bethesda leads 2-0. And to tell you all about it, here's Neil Levant.
Hey, thanks, Julian. And it'll be Keith Torres, Darius Foster, and Cade Hunter coming up for the big train in the top of the fourth inning. They lead it 2-0 here at Blair Stadium. The first pitch from Gongola is low for a ball, 1-0.
I love the energy in the crowd tonight.
Oh, yeah. The next pitch from Gongola is down the line past Lucas Donlin into left field, and the runner takes a wide turn, and staying at first base will be Keith Torres.
Oh, a real nice job in left field by Corey Rozier to backhand that ball and fire it back in to hold Torres at first.
So that's the fifth hit for the big train, and now Doug Reamer coming out to talk to Gongola. That was just past a diving Lucas Donlin.
And I think regardless of the fact that Gongola has actually pitched a pretty nice game here so far, they may turn this over to Luke Reddick because he may be ready.
And they will, so Zeke Gongola leaves to a nice hand, and it'll be Luke Reddick, the lefty, coming in relief. Luke from Lehigh.
Neil, we knew this was the game plan going in. It was just a matter of when.
That's true. Let's look at Reddick's numbers, because he has appeared in the playoffs to date. Luke has been in one game, pitched one inning, given up one hit, no runs, struck out 3. So some good numbers for Reddick. And now he's going to have to really bear down here and keep the Thunderbolts in the game, and the number of runs from Bethesda down before that total mounts to where it's going to be very difficult to come back against Dalton Ponce and the big train.
Well, while Luke Reddick gets warmed up on the mound, I want to take a moment to thank the incredible Takoma Park City TV staff that's working the game tonight, doing a fantastic job of televising this game. We want to give a big shout out to their entire crew. They do excellent work for this community. And then, of course, to our very own Clark Boyness and Justin Jaquist running the social media and in-game production, respectively. Those two are the MVPs of our season, I would say, Neil.
I think so. They've really raised the presence of the team and the organization on social media, and I think they've really brought the team to the community, and that's evidenced by this big turnout tonight. And it's just great to see so many people here. I just hope the Bolts can come up with some runs and make this into a close game and an eventual victory. It would be incredible if the Bolts could win this game here with this crowd. Bethesda, of course, with other ideas to Bethesda. So 1 on in the top of the fourth inning, nobody out. Darius Foster is up. He walked in the first inning. Crowd quiet as Torres, a fast runner, may be taking off in the next couple of pitches. Testing Luke Trainer. So lefty against lefty. First pitch from Reddick is in there for a strike, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Foster with Keith Torres on first and nobody out here in the top of the fourth. Torres leads off first. The pitch, and that's fouled back over the third base side. 0-2.
Oh boy, I think that may hit a car, a pickup that's parked out there.
Oh dear.
Oh, and they're driving away. Look at that. Better call Geico
there
or
were
something.
some close calls last night in Bethesda with cars and foul balls. And the crowd cheering. A throw over. Oh, very close play. It looked like they might have gotten him.
It was very close. Neil, I thought they had him.
I thought they had him too, but I guess Torres got his hand in there before Gallo could apply the tag. Still, no balls, 2 strikes here in the top of the fourth. And the pitch from Reddick, and there's a fly ball in the center field, and that's going to be caught by Corey Rozier for the out.
Yeah, Rozier doing a nice job and not coming too far in on that ball. Really easy to overrun fly balls, but he waits on it and makes the catch.
So 1 up for Reddick and 1 down. That'll bring up Cade Hunter, the first baseman. Cade fly out to the center fielder Cole Freeze in the second inning. Was that the great catch? I think it was.
I would say so.
Throw over, and the runner is back. So Torres at first, one down, and the pitch from Reddick is another throw over. Torres gets back.
Neil, they're just playing catch. That's all it is.
Well, he's trying to keep him there. He hasn't really shown him the good move yet. He showed him the good move earlier in the previous batter, the pitch, and that's low for a ball.
Man, oh man, you know, I'm not going to say that that one was supposed to be a strike, but the way that ball tailed in, or rather tailed back towards the zone, that is impressive movement.
One ball, no strikes. There's a strike on the outside corner. A ball and a strike to Hunter.
Reddick sporting the high socks tonight.
Big guy, 6'4". Pitches at Lehigh. One ball, another throw over. And Torres is back.
Neil, it's nice to be a lefty and to be able to make those throws so nonchalantly.
I think baseball is a game for left-handers.
I think
you
you're
get
right.
the advantage running down the line. Reddick stretches. Here's the pitch. And that's just foul down the third base line. Count goes 1-2.
Now, Neil, are you left-handed?
No.
Neither am I, so I guess neither of us are cut out for it.
Well, a very different game from last night, as baseball games will always be different from each other. One ball, two strikes to Hunter. The pitch, and there's a grounder up the middle, and that's going to be caught by Ian McMillan, who cannot make the play in time, as running in front of him was the runner Keith Torres, so that's going to be an infield single.
Yeah, unfortunate for...
Just too big of a hop for McMillan to get it. He fought Dalton Martin off for it, but it was hit so high that he didn't have time to bring it down in time to make the throw. So now 2 on with 1 out, and Bethesda getting the advantage of these little infield hits, but they count just the same as a hit into the outfield. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt, and that is a strike to the top of the order in Gio Diaz.
Yeah, you can see Lucas Donlin is in towards the infield grass at third base, expecting a bunt. Gallo also in on the right side.
No balls, 1 strike to Diaz. The pitch, and that's fouled away, strike 2.
So what you got to do if you're Luke Reddick, you got to find a way to get ahead, and right now that's exactly what he's doing.
Well, that's what Zeke Gongola was not doing, and last night what Nicholas Charlson was doing. So there's a big difference there. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 down, 2 on, top of the 4th. Bethesda leads it 2-0. Reddick gets the sign. And here's the pitch, and that's hit in the center field, and going back is Freeze, and he almost makes an over-the-shoulder catch, cannot. 1 run will score, and the runner, actually two runs are in on that, or is it 1?
Yeah, I believe it was just
the one, because they thought he was going to get it.
Yes.
So on second is Cade Hunter. Scoring is Torres, and on second with a double, or on second with a single, rather, is Gio Diaz.
Neil, I would not be shocked if they called that an error. It's a hit. They're calling it a hit. It did hit his glove. It was off his glove.
The ball seemed to take off over Freeze, who would have made a great catch had he made it. Here's Christian Jane, the right fielder, and there's a ground ball to the shortstop. He's going to throw to second for 1, so they get the lead runner.
Yeah, they get the lead runner over there at third. Runner advances down to second, and now a runner also at first base.
So everything is the same, except there are 2 outs. So runners at first and second, and now here's Kobe Kato, who is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded out twice to Dalton Martin. Bethesda by 3 as they extend their lead. And Reddick's pitch is outside, ball 1. So a couple of infield singles here. And then the double or the single by Diaz that was almost a great catch by Cole Freeze. 1-0. That's low ball 2, 2-0. So a 3-0 lead in the or a 4. Well, they're saying it's 4.
It should be 3-0. That is the calculation that I have on my score sheet. I don't know why the
The scoreboard says 3-0. There's a strike. We'll have to get a confirmation.
Yeah, it's definitely it's most certainly 3-0.
Because Hunter was out on the force.
And there was no runner at third.
So we're going to go with 3-0. Here's the pitch. And that's low for a ball. So the count is 3-1. Now they've changed it. So it is 3-0. But 3-1 to Cotto with 2 down and 2 on. The pitch, and that's outside ball 4. So the Thunderbolts falling into the pattern of giving up walks. That's 1, 2. That's the third walk that they've given up.
Well,
and that'll bring up Matt Thomas.
The good news is that the T-Bolts could escape this with only 1. I mean, they have 2 down now. If they get a fly ball, that will not score anyone with 2 down. So Reddick just needs to focus on keeping the ball down.
So bases loaded, 2 out, Matt Thomas up. Matt 2 for 2, a single and a double, and has scored a run. As Luke Reddick tries to pitch out of the jam. The first pitch is low for a ball, 1-0.
Well, that's the right pitch to make. You don't want to give him something easy over the plate, and Luke Reddick trying to get him to chase on that outside low fastball, or rather the outside low slider. And that's exactly what you want to do, and he'll go back to it.
Here's the pitch, and that's fair ball, and Tony Gallo can't make the play. He's going to try to get there to... No, he's called safe, and the Thunderbolts are furious.
Unbelievable. A completely blown call at first base.
Oh.
Stepped on the bag. He had the ball.
He had him.
The ball was in his mitt. He was a step away from the bag. And Doug Reamer is incensed, and I don't blame him. That was a blown call, and now the umpires are going to convene because they know that he was out. They know he was out.
The ball hit Tony Gallo. He grabbed it with his bare hand, couldn't make the play, picked it up, and threw it over to Luke Reddick, who ran over. Reddick almost slid into the bag trying to make the play. It looked like he beat him to the bag.
Come on, guys. Don't.
They are looking at this.
Don't screw this game up on a bad call like that. That would be a huge blow to the T-Bolts.
They're still going over the play.
Yeah, the umpires are all huddled up. It wasn't even close. They said he was off the bag, I think, but he didn't motion that he was off the bag, so I don't know exactly what the call was. If we're not talking about him being off the bag, he was undoubtedly out.
I don't think he was off the bag. I think he touched the bag. It's just
and there it is! And they turned the call over, and now Sal Calangelo's going to come have a fit. Oh boy, here we go. But it's the right call.
This is baseball, my friend.
Don't forget, folks, that is the right call. They made the right play.
So for the big train in that inning, 1 run on 2 hits. There were 3 runners left on. No Thunderbolt errors, but at the end of 3.5, the score is Bethesda 3 and the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts nothing on the T-Bolts Radio Network, powered by CQ. controversy seems to be dying down as Sal Colangelo flips his hat in the air and comes back to the dugout to the cheers of Big Train fans.
Well, you know what, Neil? Sal knows he's wrong, and he just threw his hat into the dugout. I mean, that should be an equipment violation, but we're not even going to talk about that. Sal knows he's wrong, and there's no denying it. We have cameras here. We'll go back and look at it if we need to. He clearly was out at first base. I think the thing that Sal is upset about is that the call was overturned, and in this league, supposedly we don't do that. But, Neil,
no, they wanted to get the call right,
exactly,
which they did, and I give Gallo and Reddick a lot of credit for sticking with it and making that play, because it looked at first as if they would have no chance. But then the call is reversed, and we'll see if that's a momentum-changing call. But the Thunderbolts need some runs, and getting out of that inning with just the one run was a godsend, because that could have really turned into something.
And I do want to note that Sal Colangelo, walking down to the dugout, took his hat off and threw it right into the dugout. You do that in the majors or minors, you're ejected. That's an equipment violation, so he gets a break there. And now it's Tony Gallo, and Neil's going to tell you all about him.
So the Thunderbolts, escaping what could have been a big inning there, still find themselves down 3-0 in the bottom of the fourth inning. And they've managed 2 hits against Dalton Ponce, who has a 3-0 lead. And the Bolts need to cut into it pretty quickly. The pitch from Ponce, and there's a liner in the left field, and that's going to be fair ball down in the corner. Gallo on his way to second as Hamrock fields the ball, and he will get it in, but Tony Gallo safe at second with a leadoff double.
A smoke shot from Tony Gallo down the line into the corner in left field, and that is what Tony Gallo does. We saw about a week ago, Big Train Twitter tweeted at us, they said, man, why does this guy never play against us? I think they wish they could take that back.
Well, he's playing tonight, and he's a guy who can hit in bunches and a guy the Thunderbolts need to get going. So it looks like he's on the way with a single and a double tonight. That was really smoked. And so now Lyle Miller Green looking for his first hit of the series, and this would be an appropriate time to get it. Ponce at the stretch. Checks the runner, the pitch, and that's in there for a strike, 0-1. So Brian Brewer told me before the game that the Thunderbolts were going to be aggressive on Dalton Ponce. So far, I'm not seeing a whole lot of evidence on that. I saw it with Tony Gallo. Miller Green looking to pull the trigger here. The 0-1 pitch to Miller Green, and that's low for a ball and a strike. Lucas Donlin on deck, and the Thunderbolts have, I guess, their second threat of the game.
Yes.
Tony Gallo was at second base in the first inning, but the Bolts could not bring him in. So Lyle Miller Green set for the pitch from Dalton Ponce. And that's on the corner for a strike.
To the oohs and the ahs of the crowd here, not happy about that call. Neither was Lyle Miller Green, but it was a borderline pitch.
Well, Miller Green taking a lot of pitches to me. I'd like to see him swinging more. But 1 ball, 2 strikes to Lyle here in the bottom of the fourth. Ponce gets ready, and he throws over to second, and Tony goes back in standing up as Gio Diaz took the throw.
Yeah, Lyle Miller Green, a very big frame for a guy that's a rising freshman, and a chance here to put a drive into a ball.
He looks more like a middle linebacker on a football team than he does, or a point guard in the
seriously.
NBA, a big guy. Right now he needs to be a baseball player and come up with a hit here. And that's a ground ball to the right side to Diaz. Diaz will play it. He plays it over to Hunter on the play. Gallo goes to third, and so there's 1 down.
A productive at-bat because you move the runner down to third now with only 1 down. Obviously, of course, you'd rather see Lyle Miller Green get a hit, but if you're going to go down on that play, that's how you want to do it.
So here's Lucas Donlin, who has been called out on strikes tonight, but has been hitting a ton in the playoffs, both in the Grays series and in the game last night. So Gallo at third with 1 down. Ponce getting ready to deliver. Here's the pitch. And that's outside for a ball, 1-0, as Lucas carefully watches that one go by.
Yeah, Thomas tried to bring that one back into the zone, but Paul Thompson wasn't falling for it.
Infield at normal depth. Here's the pitch. Oh, a swing and a miss at a strike outside the zone.
Yeah, it was a real beautiful breaking ball that tailed down and away, and Lucas Donlin falling victim to it. Tough to lay off that pitch.
Kind of got fooled at the last minute. 1 ball and 1 strike to Donlin. And here's the pitch from Ponce. And there's a ground ball to the third baseman, Cotto. He will throw over, but the run comes in. So the Thunderbolts get a run here in the bottom of the 4th inning as Lucas Donlin drives in Tony Gallo. And now there are 2 outs, nobody on, and Luke Traynor, the catcher, comes up. So the Thunderbolts get one back on the double from Gallo, and that's a big run for the T-Bolts. If they had not scored on that, that would have been tough.
Yeah, and that's the way you got to do it against Bethesda. When you get people on, you've got to bring them in, whether you manufacture it or you go with a long ball. No matter what you do, you have to take advantage of runners on base, and they did right there.
So here's Luke Traynor, who flied out to left field in the 1st inning. That's low for a ball. Not only do the Thunderbolts have to chip away at this lead, they can't let Bethesda get any more runs. Swung on and missed, strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, well, Luke Traynor wanted the long ball there. He went full hack at it, and just an example of Dalton Ponce, who has a really, really nice slider that tails down and in.
1 ball and 1 strike to Traynor. Here's the pitch. And there's a line drive into left field, and that's going to be a base hit. And that's cut off nicely by Hamrock, and he will hold Traynor to a single.
Man, oh man. Luke Traynor got all that ball and is able to power it out towards left center field. Now, Neil, coming to the plate, Ian McMillan with the tying run at the plate.
So McMillan, the 2nd leading RBI producer on the team for the playoffs, grounded out to Kobe Cotto his first time up. Seeing what perhaps the Thunderbolts can keep this inning going. The pitch to McMillan, he shows bunt and takes a pitch low for a ball, 1-0.
Yeah, if you're going to show bunt with 2 down, you want to make sure that you are not forcing that bat across the plate, and he did a nice job of holding up there and taking it
And
low.
he'd be bunting for a hit, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And he's fast enough to pull it off. Here's the pitch, and that's fouled out of play for a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike to McMillan. Dalton Martin, the 2nd baseman, on deck. Should McMillan get on?
McMillan, this regular season, I believe he had 1 homer on the
He had 1
season.
home run here at Blair over the left field fence. Not a home run hitter, but obviously can reach the fence. Here's the pitch, and that's a ball to throw over, and back safely is Traynor. So 2 balls and 1 strike to McMillan.
Yeah, good eye by McMillan. That was a close pitch.
So Ponce on the hill, giving up 1 in this inning on the double to Gallo and the ground out by Donlin. 2 balls and a strike. The pitch, that's outside.
Great take.
It was, yeah.
Ian McMillan is not biting on the Dalton Ponce off-speed slider, and a lot of the other T-Bolts hitters have been. But
Yeah, if
he
they
is
can
not.
watch this at bat,
Take
they
notes.
might figure something out here.
Yeah.
So Ponce at the stretch. The 3-1 pitch to McMillan is fouled down the first base line and out of play. So now a full count.
And you could see McMillan wasn't happy about it because he knew that was his pitch. That was his 3-1 cookie, but he couldn't eat it.
So Ponce has been very successful on getting strikes on the 3-2 pitch if the Thunderbolts batters have been taking. So Traynor off on the pitch. There he goes. Here's the pitch, and there's a ground ball towards the hole, and it's through for a base hit. So on to second goes Traynor, and on at first with a single is Ian McMillan.
And the tying run at first base, coming to the plate, Dalton Martin.
And out comes Sal Colangelo.
I think that's just is that their pitching coach?
That
Yeah,
looks-
that's their pitching coach.
That's the pitching coach?
Yeah, so I think Dalton Ponce will stay. But regardless, wow, this is a tall task for Dalton Martin.
So there's Craig Lopez out there to talk to.
If there ever was a time for Dalton Martin to live up to his moniker, Terror of Tusculum, I think this would be the time.
Might be. Dalton has hit well in the playoffs. So they're not sure what they're talking over. There is activity down there.
Neil, looking down, I think I've counted one empty seat, and there are people standing down in front, or rather behind
There's
home plate.
one empty seat there.
That's the one I saw, the same one you see.
Okay.
But you can see people are standing down
Right.
to the right, so that means that there's definitely no more available seating, at least beyond that one seat.
Well, this is something to see, and we're hoping that the Bolts can come back and give the fans their money's worth here. So here's Dalton Martin with Trainer at second and McMillan at first. 2 down, 3-1 in favor of Bethesda. The stretch and the pitch by Ponce is low for a ball.
And Dalton's going to make him work here. Dalton Martin, that is. Dalton Martin's going to make Dalton Ponce work because Ponce is on the brink of coming out of this game, evident in the pitching coach meeting just a moment ago. So they want to take advantage of him while he's at the end of
He's
his
thrown
life.
55 pitches. Ponce looks in. Here's the pitch. And that's outside for a ball, 2-0.
I suspect the reason that they are prepared to pull him as we see action in their bullpen is that they're letting him turn up the velocity. It looks like, at least.
If he were to walk, that would bring up Cole Freeze, who has singled. The 2-0 pitch, and that's popped up into shallow left field. Coming in is Hamrock, and he will make the catch. But in the inning, the Thunderbolts score 1 run. There were 3 hits. There were 2 runners left on base. No errors by the Big Train. So after 4 full, the score is the Bethesda Big Train 3 and the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts 1. You're listening to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network powered by CQ. Welcome back to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network, powered by CQ. I'm Neil Levon, along with Julian Barron, and I am glad to be calling this game for you tonight on Victory. We have a huge audience. In fact, there are some people who are in the stands actively listening to us. Thank you, Jonathan. That's great to hear. So Luke Reddick begins his second inning of work. He'll be facing the left fielder Drew Hamrock, the DH Tate Soderstrom, and the shortstop Keith Torrey. Hamrock 2 for 2 tonight with an RBI, a single and a double. And here's an inning where the Thunderbolts cut the gap, and they can't really afford to give up a run here, as they want to keep this one pretty tight. As they finally get to Dalton Ponce, the big hit, the leadoff double from Tony Gallo, smoked down the left field line. So here we go in the top of the 5th inning with the Big Train up by 2. No activity in the Bolts bullpen. little quiet now in the bullpen for the big train, but we'll see if Ponce comes back out for the fifth. Here's the first pitch that's fouled back by Hamrock for strike one. Hamrock has 2 hits tonight and had 1 hit last night. Was also hit by a pitch. And that bounces on the plate and gets past the catcher trainer for a ball. No damage done since nobody's on base. So 1-1 to Hamrock. Now the pitch from Trainer, rather pitch to Trainer, is swung on and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Rettig ahead in the count to Drew Hamrock. He'll be followed by the DH Tate Soderstrom and the shortstop Keith Torres. The next pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. So Rettig picks up a strikeout. That's his first. And the big train have 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Here's big Tate Soderstrom, the veteran of the Bethesda team, was with them last year. In the game last night, Soderstrom walked, popped up, and struck out and grounded out. The pitch from Rettig is in there for a strike. So Rettig finding the zone here in the top of the 5th. And as I said, this is an inning when the Thunderbolts want a clean slate so they can come back and try to pick away at this lead. Here's the pitch. And that's on the corner outside for a strike, 0-2. So Rettig getting his pitches over the plate. No balls, 2 strikes to Tate Soderstrom. That's inside. Soderstrom backs out. A ball and 2 strikes. So if I was guessing, I would think Luke would come away with that pitch on the outside part of the plate and see if he can't get the call there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And there's a fly ball into shallow left field, and going back is the shortstop, Ian McMillan, to easily make the play. And there's 2 down. So now that brings up the shortstop, Keith Torres. Keith singled and scored in the 4th inning. He was the only run to come in on that tumultuous 4th inning that saw the big rhubarb over the Matt Thomas play. Two out. The first pitch is fouled back by Torres, strike 1. So the crowd looking good out there as Julian went out to take a few pictures. Alex Mikett goes back to the dugout. There's a strike by Rettig. So now 0-2. Rettig hoping just to get out of this very quickly.
An incredible crowd here. Officially the record at Montgomery Blair Stadium, 460.
Well, it's going to be close. The pitch is high for a ball. A ball and 2 strikes to Torres.
Oh, no, we know it's the record. That is the record. We broke it.
Okay.
460. Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that's outside for a ball, 2-2. So Rettig, the big left-hander, here's the 2-2 pitch, and that's inside, ball 3. So Rettig doesn't want to put this guy on. Had him 0-2, now it's a 3-2 count. So let's see what happens with Torres, as here's the pitch, and that's outside, ball 4. So a walk with 2 outs to Torres.
Yeah, certainly not what you want to do if you are Luke Rettig, but the saving grace is that you have 2 down and you're facing the number 8 hitter here. Darius Foster is a very talented hitter, but you do want to make sure you take advantage of this spot in the lineup. Having walked down there just a moment ago, I can tell you there are certainly many, many, many more T-Bolts fans here than Bethesda fans in terms of the gear that people are wearing, the chants that they're chanting.
That's good. So lefty against lefty, Rettig against Foster, and there's a pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 0-1. Reddick, an inning and 2/3, has given up 2 hits, and that's his second walk, has struck out 1. Reddick, a very deliberate worker. We'll see if Torres has ideas on going as Reddick steps off the mound, and now he's got the ball with a 1-strike count on Foster. Here's the pitch, and that's low for a ball, so a ball and a strike. So after a strikeout and a pop-up, Reddick walks Torres on a 3-2 count, and now has a 1-1 count on Darius Foster, with Bethesda ahead by 2 in the top of the 5th, 3-1. Throw over.
Just a leisurely game
And
of
Torres
catch.
is back.
Yes, between Reddick and Gallo. I'll tell you what, though, Luke Reddick has been throwing heat. When you're down there, you can hear the pop of the glove.
1 ball, 1 strike. Another throw over, this time a little more serious, and Torres is back. A ball and a strike. There goes the runner. The pitch is grounded foul. Right to Yash Rain.
Yeah, Keith Torres does have some kind of speed running down the base paths. He is a speedster.
So a ball and 2 strikes now. Reddick wants to get that last strike and get out of the inning. So Reddick, the 6'4" lefty from Lehigh, there's a ground ball to Lucas Donlin. It backs him up. The throw, and they got him.
Oh, man, what a throw. What a play from Lucas Donlin, having the confidence to play that ball in the hop and then firing with that cannon of an arm over to first base to record the out.
Yes,
by
we'll
half
talk
step.
about that on the break back. But for right now, for the Bethesda Big Train in the top of the 5th, no runs. There were no hits, 1 runner left on base, no T-bold errors. At the end of 4 1/2, the score is the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts 1 and the Bethesda Big Train 3. You're listening to T-Bolts Playoff Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network, powered by CQ. So we're back for the bottom of the 5th inning with the T-Bolts trailing 3-1 in a very good game, and it looks like Ponce is still out there. And he will be facing Cole Freeze, Corey Rozier, and Brady Perry, the 9-1-2 hitters. You think he's on a short leash?
I would think so. The T-Bolts did get on top of him back in the 4th inning, but he's able to escape the jam, only giving up 1 run.
So we'll see how he does. I would believe their relievers are ready. They're just kind of lollygagging around in the bullpen.
Well, we'd like to thank all 31 of you tuning in right now. Glad to have you along board. And now we have a guy dressed as a banana coming up the stand. That is a peculiar outfit.
Isn't there one at every game?
Is there? I don't know. If so, I haven't seen him.
So we'll start off with Cole Freeze, who singled in the 3rd inning and was erased on a double play. The first pitch to Freeze is in there for a strike, 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to Freeze here in the bottom of the 5th inning as Ponce rears and delivers, and there's a ground ball down to 3rd base, and Cotto's got it. He throws over to Hunter for the out. So 1 quick out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And that brings up Corey Rozier, the left fielder. Corey is struck out and hit into a double play.
Yeah, Rozier also with some deceptive power, so hopefully for him he can find a way to turn around on one of these balls.
Corey looking to get on in this game. The first pitch from Ponce, and that's inside for a ball. When Corey's game is on, he gets hits by pitches, he walks.
Yeah, he does.
He's a real pest out there.
It's uncanny, really.
0 for 2 tonight. And the pitch. And he doesn't go, and that's inside for ball 2.
Nice take. That one tailed down and in, and momentarily looked like it may have grazed the zone, but he held up.
No balls, or rather 2 balls, no strikes. And here's the pitch from Ponce. And that's in for a strike, 2-1. So Corey taking.
Probably the right move. Once
gotta
force Ponce into a bad count.
Rozier ready for the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch from Dalton Ponce. And here it comes. And that's foul down the third baseline. Count now 2-2. So Corey getting some encouragement from the Thunderbolts dugout and the fans in attendance tonight. Record crowd.
Yes, indeed.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th. The Bolts trailing by 2. And now the umpire calls time as Corey steps out of the box to readjust, look at the bat, and now step in. Here's the pitch from Ponce. And that's a liner that's going to be up the middle for a base hit. Solid single for Corey Rozier. And so now Corey's on first with 1 down and Brady Peri up.
Well, this is the part of the order you want coming up with a man at first and only 1 down. But let's talk about Corey Rozier and that at-bat. Reached for that pitch, fires it back up the middle. And that's exactly how you want to do it on a pitch that you have to extend for. It just gets it right back.
Line drive up the middle. Diaz went to his right to try to get it, could not. So here's Brady Peri, the DH. Brady is due for something. He's been hitting the ball extremely well. Let's see what he can do here against Ponce. He's grounded out and struck out a throw over. And that was a close play. And diving back in was Rozier. Rozier now takes his lead. And Peri pops a ball foul out of play over the first base dugout. 1 strike.
Well, I'd like to extend a special welcome to those of you that have been following the Cal Ripken League, maybe fans of either or other teams in this league that are tuning into our broadcast.
Yeah,
we were really glad to have you along board here. And if you are one of those people, go ahead and let us know at @Tbolts_baseball on Twitter. Once again, that's at @Tbolts_baseball.
No balls, 1 strike to Peri. Throw over, Gallo is back. We'll get to that in a minute. So 0-1 to Brady Peri. There goes Rozier. The pitch is a strike. The throw is into center field, and Rozier's going to go to third, and he will make it.
Wow. A really costly mistake. A very poor throw that skipped in. It was wide of the bag by a good 3-4 feet to the right from our vantage point.
Well, that's why you make that pitch, and that's why you run. So no balls, 2 strikes to Peri, who now has a chance to get another run in for the Thunderbolts. Brady, a good 2-strike hitter. Crowd quiet. Here's the pitch. And that's grounded foul down the third baseline. Brady on top of that one.
Well, Neil, all of a sudden the dynamic of this at-bat changes because a fly ball could score a run. So I think more importantly than anything is just put the ball in play. He's playing for contact.
The third baseman, Cotto, is even with the bag. The first baseman, Hunter, is behind the bag. Center and short are deep. So the pitch to Brady Peri, and that's fouled out of play again. So the tension ratchets up a little bit more. And of course, if Ponce uncorks a wild pitch or the pitch gets through Thomas, Then the Thunderbolts score a run. They'll take them however they can get them.
A ground ball to short or second also could potentially score a run. Both are playing significantly deeper than usual.
Well, they're going to concede the run, get the out. Brady just checks his swing in time. There's no appeal. So the count now 1-2.
That's really tough to do when you commit to a pitch.
Yeah. Tony Gallo on deck. Ponce ready to deliver. Oh, that one just missed. That was a nice pitch.
Nice.
You can
take.
hear the oohs and ahs up here and the oohs and ahs in the crowd, but Paris with a good batting eye.
Yeah, he saw it.
I was waiting for Paul Thompson to ring him up, but he didn't. So 2 balls, 2 strikes to Paris. As Ponce gets ready to deliver, and there's a long fly ball into center field. That's going back to the wall, and that is a home run. And this game is tied.
Unbelievable! Brady Paris, the hero. It's in the family for the Paris. Hunter last year, a T-Bolts MVP, and this year, Brady putting together what might possibly be an MVP case in this series.
Wow, that one just kept going and going to deep center field. Hamrock went back, could not get it, and I don't think Paris really got all of it, but boy, that thing took off. And so now this game is tied, and out to the mound will come Sal Colangelo, and that will be it for Dalton Ponce. So the Thunderbolts knock out one of the best pitchers in the Cal Ripken League here in the bottom of the 5th, and this crowd erupts.
This is why you play the game. For stuff like this, Brady Paris, who, of course, having a very good postseason, he's facing one of the best pitchers in the league, takes him deep with 1 down, a 2 RBI homer, and that was not lightly hit. I mean, that was a long fly ball. That one landed maybe 5-6 feet beyond the fence and the grass out there.
Well, so Brady Paris ties the game at 3, and the Thunderbolts climb back in a game that they trail 3-0, and we'll see who the pitcher is for the Bethesda Big Train.
Well, I would take a guess to say that it'll be a starter-worthy guy, because if you're not pitching your best guys right now, I don't know what you're doing. Let's see.
Is that number 10?
Yeah, but he's not on the roster.
Let's see if we can pick him up. I checked the roster. I didn't see anybody different.
I didn't either. I don't remember there being a number 10 on this team.
Maybe it's not number 10, but we'll see if when they make the announcement. Ryan Metz. Ryan Metz, number 10 from Virginia Tech, a junior, 6'1", 190, a right-hander.
Huh.
He should be on the roster.
He's
No?
not.
All right. Well, there you go. So Ryan Metz comes in relief of Dalton Ponce here in the bottom of the 5th with the score tied at 3.
Now, wouldn't it be something if he eventually played for the Mets?
Ryan Metz on the Mets. I'm sure he'd love to play professional ball. Most of the people you talk to in this league, you talk to them just as friends and say, so, you know, your major is this, and what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to try baseball.
Well, I got to ask you, Neil, just on that topic while we have a moment. You're from New York natively. What's your favorite ballpark of all time in the state of New York?
The Polo Grounds.
It's got to be?
It's one of the
Yeah.
was one of the quirkiest, oldest, foulest smelling, but beautiful parks with, it was shaped like a shoebox.
Right.
With short porches in right and left and a deep center field with a center field clubhouse between the 2 bleachers, so you could hit a ball between the bleachers and have it be in fair play.
Oh,
it was a very unusual park.
Like 230 down the line, something like that?
It was 259 to right and 279 to left, but the upper deck and left hung over by 25 feet. And if you hit the upper deck, it was a home run.
Oh, my.
The first pitch from Metz to Lyle Miller Green is outside for a ball. Actually, that's Gallo, excuse me. So Gallo up to face Metz. 1-0 to Tony. And that's outside for a ball, 2-0. Tony is single and a double and has scored a run. So that was Brady Paris' second home run of the playoffs. That was hit a long way, you're right. The pitch, and there's one into left field, and that's going to be, did he catch it? Yes, he did. A nice catch by Drew Hamrock. Give him credit, a diving stab, and makes the play.
Yeah, really nice play by Drew Hamrock to record the out there. That one easily could have fallen in. He just made sure it didn't on the dive.
So that brings up Lyle Miller Green, the right fielder. Lyle has grounded out and was on in a walk in the first inning, stayed at first base. So the first pitch from Metz to Lyle Miller Green is dribbled down to Kato. Kato picks it up, rears, throws over, and makes the out. But in the bottom of the fifth inning, the T-Bolts 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no errors. Well, actually, there was one error by the Bethesda Big Train. Nobody left on base. And at the end of 5 full, the score is the Silver Spring Takoma Thunderbolts 3 and the Bethesda Big Train 3. Now, we're going to keep it here because this past day, the whole day after the win last night, there was lots of activity on Twitter regarding this series. And Julian, you're going to talk to one of our Twitter guys, Clark Boyness, about what was going on.
Yeah, so we're going to bring Clark in. He does our social media management. He's the guy that you see live tweeting during games. Of course, you don't see him, but you're certainly reading what he's typing. Clark, glad to have you here.
Thank you, Julian. I'm glad to be alongside. Yes, absolutely. If any of you aren't following at T-Bolts_baseball, I'd highly suggest you do because you're missing out on a lot of great quality content and, quite frankly, some interesting things going on between teams in this Cal Ripken League.
Well, tell me a little bit about that, Clark. What's been going on?
So recently, with obviously the shocking win last night over the Bethesda Big Train in Game 1, I decided to have a little bit of fun myself as the Big Train, last time we played them in that game that ultimately was meaningless right before the end of the regular season, they said that, you know, they would like to see Tony Gallo play at them sometime, and then he proceeded to hit that RBI last night. But anyways, here comes.
Yeah, we're going to start it off with Cade Hunter here. The first pitch to him from Reddick is taken down and away for a ball. The count is 1-0 from Reddick to Cade Hunter in the top of the 6th inning. And Reddick delivers the 1-0, and this one is swung on and fouled off at the plate. The count now even 1-1. But yeah, Clark, we saw that there's been a lot of contention on Twitter, but you have a lot of fun with that, right?
Oh, absolutely, and I think it's good for the league as well. It helps bring in more fans. As we've seen tonight, we have a record attendance number, and I'd like to think that social media plays a role in that.
1-1 pitch is fouled off the plate, and it's now 1-2. Clark, I would suspect you're right about that, and you have done a tremendous job all season of engaging with fans on Twitter. Tell me, is that something that you look to do professionally?
Maybe one day. You know, I came into this summer not really knowing a whole lot, and then, you know, having this opportunity with the T-Bolts has really helped, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. So, you know, if I can get a job someday, that would be great. But for now, I'm focused on this T-Bolts team.
Yeah. Well, the 1-2 pitch is taken down low. It's 2-2. Here comes the 2-2. This one tapped on the ground back to Reddick. He fields cleanly, fires to first in time to record the first out. Clark, we've seen over the past few years just a rise in the amount of digital media jobs that have been popping up all over the country with sports teams, organizations, businesses, you name it. I think that's a testament to just how effective it is to be able to communicate with your fans directly.
Oh, absolutely. And I've seen it in lots of professional leagues as well. There's some teams that do a really great job connecting with their fans. And in all honesty, it does help to bring in maybe a younger crowd that might not otherwise be interested in your team.
Yeah, the first pitch to Gio Diaz here is a ball inside, or rather a called strike in the inside corner. And the count is 0-1 on Diaz, who tonight is 1 for 2, and the next pitch is taken down low. It's now 1-1. Yeah, one of those teams that I think we could all talk about is the Cleveland Indians. They run a pretty good show over there.
Yes, they do. I've seen a few of their tweets, and the Washington Nationals as well run a very interesting and kind of unique approach at social media, but it works well for them as well.
The 1-1 pitch taken upstairs for a ball. It's now 2-1 on Gio Diaz. With nobody on and one down, here comes the pitch, this one up high, and it's now 3-1 on Gio Diaz with Christian Jane on deck. Now, Clark, you go to Butler. Tell me a little bit about, in just a moment, as Reddick will wind and deliver. This one will be fouled straight back, so the count goes full 3-2. Tell me a little bit about how you've enjoyed Big East basketball.
Well, if we have any Butler fans listening, which I will dare to say it's probably unlikely, go Dogs, but it's a lot of fun. There's some very fierce rivalries in that division, or rather conference.
Here's the 3-2. This fouled back, so we'll do it again.
And it's a lot of fun going into Hinkle Fieldhouse, teams like Xavier, Villanova coming in, UConn will be joining in 2 years. It's definitely a very competitive and lots of fierce rivalries in that conference.
Here's the 3-2. This one is sent towards right field. Going over is Miller Green, but that one's going to be out of his reach and foul, so we'll do it again, 3-2. Syracuse, where I go to school, used to be in the Big East, but then they switched over to the ACC. Things have changed in the Big East, obviously, but still, as you're telling us, a very competitive and exciting environment.
Absolutely. It should be a lot of fun this next year. I try to go to as many games as I can. And for those listening, we probably have some Georgetown Hoya fans.
Probably, is the 3-2 fouled
well.
off. Yeah, I'm sure we have Georgetown fans. I can remember one of my favorite college basketball players of all time, Des Wells, started in the Big East. Started at, I believe, Xavier or Butler. Was it?
It was Xavier,
Yeah,
and then, of course, going to be a Terrapin at Maryland.
Here's the 3-2. This one is sent towards left field. Playable straightaway for Rozier on the line drive. He makes the catch, 2 down. A nice play by Corey Rozier to stay where he was and make the catch.
Absolutely. He's been a very solid piece in the outfield for the T-Bulls this postseason.
Oh, yeah, he has. He's done a tremendous job. And he also had himself earlier today a single right up the middle, and that was crucial for the T-Bulls in terms of getting their offense going. Now it's Christian Jane. Jane is 0 for 3. First pitch is swung on and missed. The count 0-1.
I think they're going to say that maybe foul tipped into the glove there, but Jane has been a guy for the big train that's been great all season, and we'd like to keep it his night at 0 for 2 that way.
Here's the 0-1, and there's a called strike, so it's now 0-2 with 2 down, tied 3-3 here in the top of the 6th. Jane awaiting the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes, and he fouls it off to the left side. So we'll do it again, 0-2. So tell me, Clark, what are you majoring in at Butler?
So I'm actually a sports media major, so sitting right next to you on this microphone is right up my alley, as well as running a Twitter account.
The 0-2 bounces in. It's now 1-2. Yeah, now, what made you decide to go that route?
So I knew I was always into writing, not really a math science person.
Neither am I.
And I loved English class in high school, and I love sports, of course, so Butler had the major. I decided to try it out, and after my first year, I've had a really great job studying it.
Fantastic. As the 1-2 pitch from Luke Reddick, as he waits, and now we're going to get a moment at the plate.
Well said. Love the energy of this crowd.
Oh, people are loud tonight. Here comes the 1-2, and there's a called strike on the inside corner. And that'll do it for the top of the 6th inning. We go bottom 6. Thank you very much, Clark. We'll be back in just a moment at the T-Bolts Radio Network presented by CQ.
runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Train. 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the T-Bolts in a game before a packed house here. And we'll see who is on the mound. If it's Ryan Metz, it looks like it is. Metz coming out again for the bottom of the 6th inning, where the T-Bolts will be sending up Lucas Donlin, the third baseman, Luke Trainer, the catcher, and Ian McMillan, the shortstop. Doug Reamer trotting out to third base. So we hear Sweet Home Alabama. I think I've heard that song an incredible number of times. So here we go with Lucas Donlin leading it off here in the bottom of the 6th of a tie game. Ryan Metz, the right-hander, on the mound. And the first pitch to Lucas is high for a ball, 1-0. Lucas, who had a monster night last night, a little quieter tonight. He's been called out on strikes and is grounded out to third. And that pitch is down in the dirt for a ball, 2-0. Nobody in the T-Bolts bullpen, so they're going to go with Luke Reddig as long as they can. And the pitch from Metz, and Lucas tries to check his swing and is successful as they make the appeal down to third base as he went for that one outside. So now the count is 3-0, and here comes the pitch from Metz, and that's in for a strike. 3 balls and a strike. And now Lucas steps out. He'll be followed by the catcher, Luke Trainer, who's singled in the 4th inning. And the pitch swung on and missed and fouled at the plate, so a full count. Lucas with an RBI tonight. 3-2 to Donlin. And that's popped into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit, and Donlin will make it down to first base. So Lucas continues the hot hand. A little flare right over the first baseman, and kicks in fair. Jane came in to field it. So here's Luke Trainer, who singled in the 4th inning, now facing the right-handed Metz. Donlin not really a threat to go, so it'll be up to Trainer unless they put a play on here. Metz steps off the mound. Ian McMillan would be on deck. Now they go out and talk it over. So Trainer, who wears number 3, has been alternating with Tyler Murray on the catching duties. Murray playing last night in Bethesda. Luke was around 350 for most of the season, tailed off a bit, now is back over 300. Here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike. So 0-1 to Trainer. Bottom of the 6th, runner on first, nobody down for the T-Bolts. The game is tied at 3. Metz looks in, and here's the pitch, and that's fouled out of play. So the count 0-2 now on Trainer. As the crowd moving around, a lot of the kids climbing on fences. They can't sit still. Honestly, I think a lot of the adults are having trouble standing still in a game like this. No balls, 2 strikes to Luke Trainer. And here's the pitch, and that's inside. A ball and 2 strikes. So if you're watching on Takoma Park TV, we hope you're enjoying this one. This is a doozy. Unlike last night, where the Thunderbolts got out ahead and stayed ahead, this one is tied at 3. The pitch, and there's a ground ball towards the hole, and it's through and over the glove of Gio Diaz. Stopping at second will be the runner, Lucas Donlin, And on at first with his second single is Luke Trainer. So that one was a bounder that just got over the glove of Diaz as he was moving to his right. So the Thunderbolts catch a bounce there. And now have 2 on and nobody out. And McMillan up. Will McMillan bunt? They're being careful in the infield. On deck would be Dalton Martin. Donlin is not the fastest on the Thunderbolts, could probably score on a single to the outfield. And here come the Let's Go T-Bolts chants. Here's the first pitch, and swung on and missed from Ian McMillan as he swung on a pitch that drifted outside. But McMillan, a very good hitter with strikes. Kobe Cotto playing even with the bag at third, as is Cade Hunter playing even with the bag at first, maybe a little bit in on the infield, seeing if there's going to be a bunt. Now he shows bunt, and he pops it up, and they're going to make the play at second. Yes, they get him. So a double play on a pop-up bunt. So McMillan pops up to the pitcher, and then Metz turns around and fires it to the second baseman for the putout. So the Thunderbolts can't get the bunt down, and that costs them. And so the runner's still on first in Luke Trainer, but now Dalton Martin up. Martin has struck out and flied out to left. The pitch to Martin is is called a strike. I thought that was going to be a ball, but it's called a strike. 0-1. There is a hole on the right side of the infield as now Hunter is holding Trainer on. The pitch, and there's a high fly ball into short right field. Coming on to get it is Jane, and he makes the catch for the out. And that will do it for the Thunderbolts in the bottom of the 6th inning. For the Thunderbolts, no runs. There were 2 hits, 1 runner left on base, no errors for the big train. So at the end of 6 full, as we head into the last 3 innings of the game, the score is the Bethesda Big Train 3 and the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts 3. You're listening to T-Bolts Baseball on the T-Bolts Radio Network, powered by CQ. No out, could not make anything happen. So it'll be Cotto, Thomas, and Hamrock. Cotto is 0 for 2 with a walk. The first pitch is a ball, 1-0. Cotto was hitting .500 in the playoffs as of today. That probably dipped a bit. The pitch, and that hits him. hits him in the back. Not what you want to do. And Kato seems to be okay. He's running down to first base. Actually not running, just walking. Not what Luke Reddick wanted to do. So now that puts a runner on who can run, and Matt Thomas, who has singled and doubled and grounded out. So the big train gets a leadoff runner on here in the top of the 7th, as Reddick has to work now with Thomas, Hamrock, and Soderstrom coming up. Thomas is 2 for 3, as is Hamrock. So the Thunderbolts looking to turn 2 here in the top of the 7th inning. So Reddick looks over at Kato. The first pitch is outside for a ball, 1-0. One and 0 to Thomas, the pitch, and that's low and inside, gets away momentarily from Trainer. So 2 balls and no strikes. And now Tony Gallo coming in to talk to Trainer, the 2 Lehigh players, discussing something. 2 balls, no strikes. Tony gives him a pat on the back, says, let's go. Jogs back to his position. So 1 on, nobody out in the top of the 7th for the big train. And the 2-0 pitch from Reddick is in there for a strike. 2 balls and a strike. Two balls, 1 strike to Matt Thomas with Kobe Kato at first. The pitch, and that's low. Now the count is 3-1. So Reddick running into a little bit of difficulty here. Nobody out, a runner on first. I doubt he'll be going with the 3-1 count. Here's the pitch, and that's lined into right field, and that's going to be caught by the right fielder. Here's the throw to first. It won't be in time, but the Thunderbolts pick up the out on the liner to Lyle Miller Green in right field. So one down here in the top of the 7th, and that will bring up Drew Hamrock. Hamrock with a single and a double and a strikeout tonight. So every out, a big out as we go down to the latter innings of this game. People calling for the 6-4-3 double play. And there's a throw over, and Kato is back.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice right about now, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. The Bethesda big train has turned 1. So Reddick at the stretch. And here's the pitch, and that's in for a strike.
Yeah, Reddick just trying to find a way to get back to his former self in terms of just making sure that he doesn't get too wild with these pitches. We know that he can have trouble finding the zone when he gets late into ball games.
Had a 1-2-3 inning last inning. He shows bunt and fouls it at the plate. So a 0-2 count. So the Thunderbolts tried a bunt and could not get the bunt down. Instead, it was a pop-up to Ryan Metz, who then easily doubled the runner off second. That was Lucas Donlin. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to now there's time called as Reddick was in his motion and kind of spun down.
Yeah, had to stop halfway there. Thankfully, he did it quick enough to make sure he wasn't falling forward.
No balls, 2 strikes, a throw over, and Kato is back. So a very spirited competition And here's the pitch. And there's a liner in the right field, and that's going to be a base hit, and that's going to run to the wall. So coming around third is Cotto. He'll be waved in. He will score, and heading for third is Hamrock. The throw to third. He's safe.
Wow. Didn't look like it, but that's the call. Looked like the throw beat him.
So another extra base hit for Drew Hamrock, and the Bethesda Big Train takes the lead here in the top of the 7th and have a runner at third with one down and Tate Soderstrom up.
Well, the damage is done. Now it's just a matter of finding a way to limit it.
Once again, on a 2-strike pitch, Drew Hamrock comes through with an extra base hit. I'm sure
yeah.
Rettig would want that pitch back.
Really well hit.
So here's the first pitch to Soderstrom. That's inside for a ball. Soderstrom backs out. I had a queasy feeling once he hit Cotto with the pitch. Those always come back to get you.
Yes, often is the case when you put a guy on via the walk or the base or the hit by pitch. That can certainly limit your potential.
1 ball, no strikes. 4-3 Bethesda in the top of the 7th. 1 down, a runner on third. The pitch, and that's on the corner for a strike, 1-1. So Hamrock with a triple. He's now got a single, double, and triple. Now only needs is a home run for the cycle. Triple, the hardest one to get. Here's the pitch, and that hits him again.
Oh my goodness! Now he's talking up Rettig.
And now Rettig doesn't like it. The Thunderbolts players come out of the bench, out of the dugout. I can't believe that was deliberate. Now the umpire talking to Rettig.
Yeah, home plate umpire Mr. Paul Thompson walked out and got in between Rettig and Tate Soderstrom. I don't think that was intentional.
How could it be? Well, it couldn't be intentional because that puts another runner on, and now Brock Hunter, the pitching coach for the T-Bolts, coming out. So the T-Bolts had an opportunity in the bottom of the 6th with 2 on and nobody out and couldn't deliver. Here, the Big Train has a runner on first with 1 out, and Hamrock gets the triple, and now Soderstrom gets the base on being hit by pitch. That's 2 hit batters in the inning. And now tempers seem to be calming down a bit. As Brock Hunter is talking to Rettig. There's throwing now in the T-Bolts bullpen. That's Tyler Dieball warming up.
I'm really surprised that Tate Soderstrom had the reaction that he did. Come on.
I mean, yes, you don't like to be hit, and now it looks like there's going to be a pinch run for Soderstrom. And now what's happening?
Hey, Soderstrom's coming back, talking to the catcher. Or talking to the dugout on his way over back to the Big Train dugout.
And now Trainer's getting into it with him. And now the Bethesda coaches are telling him to calm down.
Oh, boy.
Soderstrom spraying, what am I doing?
Trainer just pointed at him, said, you get back down there. Oh, my goodness. Whew. Tempers are flaring here.
So who's running for the Big Train is Fox Simones. So Fox Simones goes in to run for Soderstrom. And maybe Soderstrom was really hurt by that. So, yes, I can understand him being angry. But obviously it's not something Rettig wanted to do. And I can tell you Simones is going to go to second base. And the Thunderbolts are not going to throw. Here's the pitch. He shows bunt. It's a nice bunt. Here's the play, and it's going to be to first by Gallo, and they get him. It's to Dalton Martin actually covering, and the run scores. So Keith Torres comes up with the sacrifice. So the Big Train make the best of the situation by coming up with 2 runs now, a runner at second and nobody out.
Yeah, now the T-Bolts trailing 5-3.
So a runner still on second, and Darius Foster, who has a walk and a fly out and a ground out tonight. So here's the pitch. Swung on and missed strike 1.
Yeah, Reddick gets one back there. Wild series of events, and you know the umpires are concerned about potential tempers flaring down the stretch here.
Well, this has turned into a kind of a series with lots of quotes back and forth on Twitter. You didn't mention a lot of them, but there was a lot of stuff going on. The pitch, and that's on the corner for strike 2. Maybe Justin can talk about some of it when he comes on in the middle of this inning.
Yeah, I don't know if I should call it trash talk. I don't even know if that's what it is. It's just there's been a lot of contention, and these two teams don't like each other. We already knew that.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch is away, and it gets away from Trainer. It's a ball, but staying at second base is Simone's. So 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, T-Bolts are going to play it very close to the vest here with a runner at second base. Don't be surprised if we see maybe the infield comes in just a little bit here.
No balls, 2 strikes. Rather, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And here's the pitch. And it's on the corner, strike 3. So Foster is called out on strikes. But in the inning, Bethesda gets 2 runs on 2 hits. There were no Thunderbolt errors, 1 runner left on base. And we're going to keep it here in the middle of the 7th. Julian is going to talk to Justin, and we're going to talk about some Twitter stuff. And so hang on a second, and you can talk to Justin as they do the Take Me Out to the Ball game.
All righty. Now Justin Jacobs on the mic, I believe.
Yes, I am.
All righty. Welcome, Justin. Glad to have you here. Now, tell me, Justin, you have been doing the in-game production all year. You've been doing a spectacular job. You've been doing of course, with that job comes with doing the walk-up music and cutting that up and making sure the players have a great atmosphere to play in. Tell me about how that's been for you, how you felt doing it, and how you've enjoyed this season.
It's like I did music for my high school baseball team for 4 years, so I had that music background of playing music during the game, walk-up music kind of stuff, but not to this experience where you're cutting up clips and you're playing them and stuff like that.
And, of course, you are no stranger to the Cal Ripken League. You've been around for a while, particularly with the Baltimore Redbirds. Tell me a little bit about your organization, or rather, your time with that organization.
Well, I got introduced to the Baltimore Redbirds organization through the League of Dreams Foundation, which helps anyone with any type of disability play the game of baseball and softball, adapt, and it be an adaptive version.
Right. And is that something you're still involved with?
Yes. I'm more of the management type now, but...
Well, yeah, eventually that's how it goes. That you move up with time. So, we're going to turn things over to the T-Bolt lineup here. Cole Freeze coming up. It'll be Freeze, Rozier, and Paris against Mets here in the bottom of the 7th inning. T-Bolts trailing 5-3 as Justin stays on with us, but Mets delivers the first pitch of the frame and a big swing and a miss. The count 0-1 on Cole Freeze, who tonight is 1 for 2. Justin, tell me about some of the events that League of Dreams sponsors and hosts.
League of Dreams does things with the Redbirds. We actually did an event last year with the University of Maryland baseball team in Coach Vaughn, so that was pretty fun. And we did stuff when the Cal Ripken League did their Little League baseball, like they do in Williamsport. We did that for a while, and just events around the state of Maryland.
The 0-1 pitch misses inside. It's now even 1-1 with nobody on and nobody down. Here comes the next pitch to Cole Freeze. This ball is rocketed to deep left field, but it's going to go foul. Back beyond the Big Train bullpen. Man, oh man, that ball was hit far and hard, but foul. And so it's now 1-2 on Cole Freeze. Justin, tell me, you're not an Orioles fan. You're not a Washington Nationals fan. What team are you a fan of?
The Chicago Cubs.
And now why is that?
I was born in Chicago. Didn't live there for that long, but my dad and my mom are both Cubs fans, and I love the city of Chicago, and I'm a diehard Cubs fan.
And the count 1-2 here on Cole Freeze as he takes a moment outside the box. Now, what are your thoughts on the White Sox?
No. It's actually funny because my dad grew up in Iowa, so there's like no baseball teams or no sports teams. So my uncle and my cousin are actually White Sox fans.
The 1-2 pitch misses inside. It's now 2-2 on Cole Freeze. I've been out there to Wrigley Field and to what is now called Guaranteed Rate Field, I believe.
Yeah.
I think Wrigley is maybe a little bit nicer.
Yeah, it's funny. Speaking of the White Sox, it's not just my uncles. It's being part of the Redbirds for so long. It's the Redbirds players that have gotten drafted.
2-2 pitch put on the ground to the left side, throw over, and he is safe. So, on what was, it could have been a close play at first regardless, but the throw is a little bit errant by Kobe Kato, and as a result, the leadoff man is aboard here on what I presume will be an E5. That's my best guess.
Yeah, actually, speaking of one of the White Sox players that it was funny, is Gavin Sheets, who played at Gilman, where I think you went.
Yes, that is correct. I do know Gavin.
And it's funny, I've been texting him off and on, and I'm like, I'm going to get your jersey, but it's going to say Chicago on it, not White Sox.
Yeah. Here's the first pitch to Corey Rozier. This one towered in the air, shallow center field. Going out to get it is the second baseman, Diaz. He brings it in for the first out, and of course the runner stays at first. Now with one down for Brady Perry. Yeah, Gavin had a tremendous career at Gilman, and now Sal Colangelo is going to come out. We may see a pitching change here, so we'll keep you posted on that. But yeah, Gavin Sheets had a tremendous career with the Gilman Greyhounds, where I went to school in Baltimore, and now drafted into the Chicago White Sox organization. Went to Wake Forest, a program that has produced a lot of really talented baseball players.
Absolutely. And actually, one of the former Redbirds that went to Wake Forest is actually now in the Orioles organization, and Ben Rosali or what, I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They have dispersed their talent all over the country in all major league organizations and farm systems. And we'll officially have the pitching change here for the Bethesda Big Train. It's Elliot Zollner,
who's actually a former Redbird, too.
Tell me about what you know. Give me the scoop, the lowdown, the scouting report.
Well, I don't know what year he was with the Redbirds. I just know the certain Redbirds guys. There's actually 3 Redbirds on the roster, on the Big Train roster this year, so that's a little bit interesting. But when the Redbirds disbanded last year, 2 of the Redbirds coaches actually came over to the Big Train.
Now, tell me, of course, last year we know the Redbirds had a very successful season. They ended up being crowned co-champions with Bethesda due to the rain-shortened finals. Thankfully, we don't have that problem this year. But what are some highlights of the season last year with the Redbirds? I can recall, just from my experience, seeing DJ Poteet hit. He was really good last year.
Yeah.
There were a few other guys that put on a tremendous show.
And Joe Zoll is one of them who actually went to he goes to Westchester, and I think he broke a Westchester record or something like that, with the most home runs or whatever. School history or something like that.
It's very impressive. And there, I believe they had a pitcher that was downright dominant. I'm trying to remember his name from last year. It was their #1 starter. I got a chance to see him up in Towson when the T-Bolts traveled there for a doubleheader, and I can remember he just put on a show.
It's funny because you think of all these players that I know, and remembering like Evan Anderson, who pitched at Ole Miss, who was probably was 5 years ago or whatever. I'm actually looking at the Redbirds roster from last year to see who we're possibly talking about.
Justin, our in-game researcher here, doing a great job digging in and finding out what we need to know. So with one down and a man at first, here is Brady Perry, who tonight is 1 for 3 with that massive 2-run bomb back in the 5th. First pitch to him is a called strike at the inside corner, and the count is 0-1. So Zollner getting set here. Zollner from Annapolis, Maryland, over in Anne Arundel County.
Actually, Ryan Okuda was actually on the Redbirds last year.
That's right. Now the big train. Here comes the 0-1, and that misses up high. Very close pitch, and the count is even 1-1 with a man at first and one down.
You actually they had Brendan Solsusi, who went to Tulane, who's actually got drafted by the Red Sox this year.
Oh, how about that? 1-1 the count with a man at first and one down. Zollner sets and delivers. And there, it's a ball down low, just missed, and the count is now 2-1.
Yeah, it's awesome watching these Redbirds pitch, especially come end of the season in college, and you're playing for that ACC tournament to get that bid into the big dance and hopefully onto Omaha. It's funny, I was actually watching some Radford games, University of Mississippi.
2-1 pitch, put down the line into left field. That's a base hit. Going over to get it is Drew Hemrock. Lead runner will advance down to second base. That's Corey Rozier. And Brady Perry gets aboard with a single. So men on first and second now for Tony Gallo. And tell me, Justin, what do you know about Tony Gallo?
Man, when he can hit the ball, he's hot and he's on fire.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I could have put it any better myself. When Tony Gallo's hitting, he's hitting. And so far tonight, he is 2 for 3.
Yeah, it's funny because Lehigh is actually one of the college teams that are liking our trees that Clock does, retreating them.
First pitch to him, gets away. That's up high for a ball, and both runners will advance. So now the tying run stands at second base. Men on second and third. 5-3 ball game at the bottom of the 7th inning. And Zollner trying to get under control here as the pitching coach will go out to have a word. This is Craig Lopez.
Craig Lopez is actually one of the coaches that came over from the Redbirds.
Have you met him? Have you talked to him?
Yes.
What are your thoughts? What have you talked to him about?
It's funny because I know it's him and then Chris Devlin came over.
Right.
I think the one I know better is Devlin, but I'm not sure.
Well, I know for a fact that you were, I'm going to say familiar, but perhaps close with the broadcasters of the Redbirds from last year, Connor Newcomb, who now works for the Hagerstown Suns, and Matt Davis, who's doing an internship with Wells Fargo, I believe, in Baltimore. Or it could be D.C. I need to double-check on that. But two really wonderful guys that you had a great chance to stick around with last year.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved meeting the players, and it was fun, too, because it was Connor Newcomb, and then before that it was Harrison Schwartz, who had a great career with the Johns Hopkins.
Of Jay's fame, yes.
Yes.
So, let's dig in here, folks. Men on second and third. Tying run stands at second, and it's Tony Gallo at the plate with one down. First pitch in from Zollner, a big swing and a foul back to the screen, and the count is 0-1.
Yeah, if you're the big train, this is one of the guys you do not want up at the plate.
I believe the count actually 1-1. 1-1 the count because Zollner had, of course, made that first pitch before Craig Lopez had come out to talk to him. So the count 1-1. Here comes the pitch. That's way inside. Gets away. Here comes a run to score. Rose crosses the plate, and it's 5-4.
This is what you have to love about.
Oh, boy. And now the catcher, Thomas, is trying to argue interference from Tony Gallo. Oh, they're trying to say that it hit Gallo. And by hitting Gallo, that would nullify the chance for the runner to come across the plate. And so instead it would load the bases. Oh, boy. This is going to be tough.
Good job by Gallo on his part to not saying I got hit, knowing the situation and knowing where the ball went.
Well, I think they're going to send him down to first. There's a meeting of the umpires over the left side of the infield.
Yeah. This is what you have to love about the game of baseball. It could be one inning, one out, one pitch that changes the whole complex of the game.
Well, we're certainly learning that here as Tony Gallo talks with assistant coach Marcus Johnson over the right side. The umpires convene to try and sort this out. As it stands, the T-Bolts have brought a run across, and it's 2-1 on Tony Gallo, 5-4 ball game.
We're still one out if I can't see the scoreboard.
No, you are correct, Justin. One down, and if this is to get reversed, it would go back to being 5-3. Let's see the call. Paul Thompson coming over. Oh, boy. Yeah, the big train's getting antsy here. Now Doug Reamer's coming out to have a word from his third base coach position.
It's funny that you talk about this because I was watching the Red Sox Tampa Bay game a while back ago when Alex Cora had controversy with one of the pitchers that I know, Adam Calera, came into the game pitched against the batter, went to first, and then came back in.
And they're putting him at first base, which means that the bases will be loaded. So Tony Gallo goes down to first. Corey Rozier is going to go back to third, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Now, why is Sal still standing out there?
And look at I don't know who that is yelling at the umpire in the Bolts dugout, but someone's not happy either.
What on earth is going on? Well, I guess that's for us to figure out. The bases are loaded now. 5-3 ball game. Wipe that run off the board. I think Brian Brewer just got ejected, and now Brian's coming out to have a word with the umpire. Brian Brewer is very unhappy. Oh, and he's getting yelled at. Now Brian Brewer heads back down to the dugout. He's been ejected. Brian Brewer, of course, the GM for the T-Bolts, who stays down at the dugout. I'm curious to know what they're upset about because, of course, I don't know whether or not Tony Gallo was actually hit, but it was very close.
Yeah, as I was saying about the Red Sox Tampa Bay game, the announcers that I was listening to was actually the Red Sox announcers said how nice it would be to have mics on the umpires so you could hear what's going on between the umpires and the coaches, and this would be a perfect time for in collegiate baseball.
Well, I'm sure that managers that like to use less than safe for work language would not like the umpires to be mic'd up.
Yeah.
So the bases are loaded. Tying run at second base for Lyle Miller Green. First pitch to him is a called strike, and the count is 0-1 with one down.
As some people like to say, there's 3 ducks on the pond.
Man, hearts are racing here at Montgomery Blair Stadium with the bases loaded, like you said, Justin. 0-1 pitch on the way. This ball's fouled off to the right side. And so it's quickly 0-2 on Lyle Miller Green with one down.
You would think that with all this bickering between the Bolts and the Big Train that it would be like a Giants-Dodgers game or something like that.
It sure does feel like it.
Or a Cubs-Cardinals game.
Yeah. Cubs-Brewers, especially recently, has become pretty heated too, as we'll now have time called to the plate. I'm going to venture to guess that you dislike the Cardinals more than the Brewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it close?
It's not Miller Park to Cubs fans. It's Wrigley North.
Right. Oh, I've heard that one before. 0-2 the count. Here comes the pitch, and that'll just miss down and in. Very close. Oh, and the pitcher, Zollner, stretches his arms out saying, where's my call? There's a lot of emotion in these Bethesda Big Train players. Surprised more than don't get ejected for it.
And I bet half of it's because of their big loss last night, 9-0.
I would be willing to bet that is the case. 1-2 pitch on the way. Miller Green fouls it off to the right side.
That's a ripper.
That's one way to put it, as that ball was smoked out of play to the right. So the count 1-2 with one down and the bases loaded.
Yeah, Lyle Mel Green's one of these players that didn't start with the Big Train, T-Bolts this year, and has been doing an amazing job, especially as a senior going into his freshman year in college.
1-2, and now a moment outside the box for Lyle Miller Green. Bases loaded, tying run at second. Only one down, bottom of the 7th. Folks, I hope you're buckled up. 1-2 the count. Here comes the pitch, and that'll be a called strike 3. And Lyle Miller Green isn't happy about it. He went on a halfway swing, and it's 2 down.
With Lucas Donlin coming up. I wasn't at the game last night, but I think I remember he had some pretty good hits last night too.
So Donlin has an opportunity here to continue what has been a very, very impressive series for him to this point. He has an RBI tonight. First pitch to him is away for a ball, the count 1-0. So the bases remain loaded with 2 down. T-Bolts risking potentially not getting any runs in this rally. 1-0 the count on Lucas Donlin, who's headed to Virginia Tech next year. Zollner winds and delivers. Donlin swings and misses, and the count is even 1-1.
Yeah, speaking of Virginia Tech, a lot of the players that were with the Redbirds came from Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we got quite a few of them on the T-Bolts this year as well. 1-1 pitch on the way to the plate, and this one sent to the right side, played on a bounce by Hunter, who will take it to the bag and record the out unassisted. And so Zollner is able to escape the jam. Lucas Donlin grounds out, and we go to the top of the 8th inning. T-Bolts trail 5-3 on the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ.
that could be very fateful for the Thunderbolts.
Neil, this feels like a daytime soap opera. This is unbelievable with the amount of drama that we're facing in this game. As the big train will bat here at the top of the 8th inning, 5-3 in favor of Bethesda is the score, and Cade Hunter will step in against Luke Reddick, who stays on the mound. Reddick winds and delivers to Cade Hunter, and that'll be taken down low for a ball to count 1-0. So in case you missed it and you just tuned in, last inning the T-Bolts nearly had a run tacked on to make it 5-4, but the umpires ruled after deliberation that a pitch had hit Tony Gallo, as the next pitch to Cade Hunter is taken for a called strike, the count 1-1. So that ended up putting Corey Rozier back on the base paths, bases loaded, one down, rather than it being 5-4. It went back to being 5-3. Here comes the 1-1. This one's foul back to the screen, and so it's now 1-2 on Cade Hunter. Tonight, Hunter is 0 for 3, so he's certainly due, at least in this ball game.
No, you load the bases, one out. You need at least one, and they didn't get it.
And the next pitch is taken down and in, and so it's now 2-2 on Cade Hunter. Reddick just trying to maintain his composure. I do wonder how much longer he will stay in this ball game. There is action.
I think it's Tyler Dyball warming up in there.
Yes, there definitely is action at the T-Bolts bullpen. The next pitch is fouled off at the plate. Oh, they said he didn't make contact, and he struck out. So it looked like it was a foul ball, but it was just a dropped third strike. And so that'll do it for Cade Hunter. We turn it over to the top of the lineup in Gio Diaz, who tonight is 1 for 4, or rather 1 for 3 with a walk.
So the Thunderbolts have to regather themselves, get out of the inning, and then hope they can do something in the 8th, just get a run back.
First pitch to Gio Diaz, a called strike on the backdoor slider. And the count is 0-1 on Gio Diaz with Christian Jane on deck. Bases cleared.
So the story of this game is the big train capitalizing on their chances, the Thunderbolts not quite capitalizing on theirs.
I'd say that just about sums it up, Neil. Reddick kicks and sends the 0-1 to the plate. That'll miss up high. And it's now even 1-1 on Gio Diaz. Big Train leads this game by 2 runs, 5-3 in the top of the 8th inning. T-Bolts have 6 more outs to work with offensively. If the T-Bolts drop this game, we'll go to a winner-take-all game tomorrow. 1-1 pitch on the way, and it'll miss up high and away. The count now 2-1 on Gio Diaz.
We'll give the big train credit for battling back from what was a devastating loss last night.
And the next pitch to Gio Diaz on the way. This one's put up foul, out of play to the right side. So it's even 2-2 on Gio Diaz.
But the game far from over.
That is for sure. The T-Bolts have more opportunities, and I'll tell you, the crowd has not filed out one bit here. 2-2 on the way. That misses down and away. And it's now 3-2 with 1 down and nobody aboard. The crowd is loud here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. They are involved, and they are loving every minute of this.
They've seen a great game.
Here's the 3-2. That misses up high and away. And so Reddick delivers a base on balls to Gio Diaz. And now it's Christian Jane coming to the plate. Tonight, Christian Jane is 0 for 4. He struck out back in the 6th inning. Fell victim to Luke Reddick's backdoor slider. As the Let's Go T-Bolts chants start to erupt from the right side. With a man on first and 1 down, Bethesda leading by 2 runs. Reddick sets and delivers to Christian Jane. And that'll be a high strike. The count is 0-1.
So that's the 3rd walk issued by Reddick tonight.
We can confirm that GM Brian Brewer has been ejected from this ball game after arguing last inning. The throw over to first not in time to get a diving Gio Diaz. Like to remind you that after this game, you can check out tbolts.org for a full game recap provided by our beat writer Alexander Dacey.
You should have something to write about.
I think so.
Wouldn't you think?
I would suspect so. Here comes the 0-1. This one tapped on the ground down to second base. Flipped to second for 1. On to first, and they did not get him. A bang-bang play, but they do get the lead runner at second, 2 down with a man at first. So a fielder's choice put out at second. They go 4-6. And now it's Kobe Cotto. Tonight, Cotto is 0 for 2. He's walked and he was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. Luke Reddick, all he wants for Christmas is another out. Let's see if he can get it. Maybe Christmas can come early for him. Christmas in July, if you will. 2 down man at first. And Reddick sets and delivers to Cotto. This one put on the ground the other way, backhanded by Donlin, fires across, and he got him. A beautiful throw from Lucas Donlin, and that propels us into the bottom of the 8th inning. T-Bolts trail this game by 2 runs. We'll see what they can do offensively on the T-Bolts Radio Network, presented by CQ.
T-Bolts Radio Network, where the T-Bolts trail the Bethesda Big Train here as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And for the T-Bolts, it'll be Trainer, McMillan, and Martin coming up, as Zellner is still on the mound for the Big Train. So after the bases loaded one-out situation that resulted in no runs coming in, and after the controversies, and after the ejection, and after the umpire conferences, here's Julian Barron.
Well, thank you very much, Neil. It has been a wild evening so far here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. 5-3 the score in favor of Bethesda. The T-Bolts trying to get back into this one and tie the ball game at the very least. It'll be Luke Trainer, Ian McMillan, and Dalton Martin coming to the plate here in the bottom of the 8th inning. So Trainer comes to the plate, having gotten a single back in the 4th inning, his only hit of the evening. He hit a line drive to left field back in the 2nd, but that was caught by the left fielder, Drew Hemrock. Now Zollner sets and delivers to the plate. That'll be taken for a called strike on that outside corner. The count 0-1.
So the Thunderbolts taking pitches, and they took pitches in the 7th inning, and that didn't work out. But we'll see.
Playing it very conservatively. Here comes the 0-1, and this one's fouled out of play left side back towards the parking lot. And I say it's about time to get ourselves an insurance sponsor, because that may have hit a car, and the count is 0-2.
Well, we do have Hannigan's Auto Body.
That's true, we
and
do.
Far East Motors.
Those two alone may be compensating for the fact that we don't have an insurance sponsor, at least for auto. And now we have time called to the plate with an 0-2 count here on Luke Trainer. Trainer steps back in. Zollner gets the sign and delivers the 0-2, and there's a called strike 3.
Beautiful pitch.
Paints the outside corner, 1 down. That's exactly how you draw it up if you're Zollner. And now Ian McMillan comes to the plate. McMillan singled back in the 4th, much like Luke Trainer. So he has an opportunity here to jumpstart the T-Bolts offense with 1 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. A reminder that if the T-Bolts lose tonight's game, we go to a winner-take-all matchup tomorrow. First pitch is a called strike at the top of the zone, and the count 0-1.
So Zellner really bending these pitches over.
He sure does love the off-speed, and it's treated him well. 0-1 the count with 1 down, and Elliot Zollner sets and delivers to the plate. And there's a called strike, a really beautiful curveball, another one from Zollner, and the count is 0-2. So Zollner ahead 0-2 with 1 down. Nobody aboard here in the bottom of the 8th. And here comes the pitch. That'll miss low and away, and the count is 1-2.
Well, these are the 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up with Cole Freeze in the hole should anybody get on, and then the top of the lineup after that. So the Thunderbolts really want to get something going here.
1-2 pitch taken low and away. He did not go around on it. And the count now even 2-2 on Ian McMillan out of the University of Houston. Coming up to the Cal Ripken League for the summer and doing so in grand fashion. He has been a staple of the T-Bolts offense.
He's been doing very well. Second leading RBI producer.
It's been a long time since I've seen this many timeouts called at the plate. We've had a lot of them over the past few
There's a lot
innings.
at stake here.
That's true. It does make sense. The count is 2-2 here as Zollner sets, and he's ready to go and hurls it to the plate. This one's fouled straight back, and the count is 2-2 once again on Ian McMillan. One down, nobody aboard, and Dalton Martin anxiously waiting in the on-deck circle. But before that, let's see what happens with Ian McMillan. The count 2-2 with one down. And Zollner winds and delivers. That'll be taken high and away, and we go full 3-2 on Ian McMillan. A tremendous batting eye from the Houston Cougar. We've seen it all year. He's continuing to show it in this at-bat. Works the count full 3-2. With one down and nobody aboard, Zollner's ready to go, and he delivers. This one sent in the air, high to center field. Playable, though, for Darius Foster, who makes the catch. Barely has to move. 2 down.
So nothing much out of the Thunderbolts yet. In the bottom of the 8th, it'll be Dalton Martin, and if he gets on Cole Freeze.
But I think that may be it for Elliot Zollner, as Sal Colangelo is coming out to make a substitution. He says well done and takes the baseball from Zollner, and that finishes Elliott's evening here at Montgomery Blair Stadium. So with 2 down and nobody aboard, Bethesda leading 5-3, they will bring a new pitcher onto the mound.
And we'll see who that will be.
But while we try and figure it out, we would like to tell you that you can follow the T-Bolts on Twitter. That's at T-Bolts_baseball. Once again, at T-Bolts_baseball. As Chase Lee is checking into the game to pitch for Bethesda. He's a sophomore at the University of Alabama, a member of the Crimson Tide, and he's from McCalla, Alabama. So he is an Alabaman born and bred. But tonight he's going to have to find a way to perform in the old line state. He gets warmed up on the mound, getting ready to fully come into this ball game with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Neal has the lowdown.
This is his first appearance in the playoffs so far. During the regular season, Chase Lee was one of those Bethesda pitchers with a microscopic ERA, and as we look at him, and we'll get there in a second, as we wait for the computer to catch up with everything. Lee has been in 16 games, 26 innings, allowed 16 hits, 5 runs, only 3 earned, walked 6, struck out 51 with a 1.03 ERA.
He's pretty good.
He is good.
He has tremendous bend on his sidearm delivery. It tucks back in on what looks like a slider and then occasionally a 2-seam fastball. And so we'll see if he can make something happen for Bethesda on the mound here against the T-Bolts.
And I would think they would leave him in for the 9th if they have the lead.
Well, I suspect that this is a 4-out save. That seems like the most likely scenario considering his stats. But the T-Bolts trying to have something else to say about that. They have Dalton Martin coming to the plate.
Martin, who had 2 hits last night, is 0 for 3 tonight.
He's due.
Thunderbolts running out of outs, and you can't believe, but they had their opportunity in the bottom of the 7th and just could not bring the runners across.
Well, Martin comes to the plate. Cole Freeze will bat next if this inning continues. Regardless, Martin, the 8 batter, will be followed by the 9, 1, and 2. Whether we see that in the bottom of the 8th or the bottom of the 9th, T-Bolts trying to make something happen. Jumpstart the offense. Spark the storm, if you will. 2 down, nobody on, and Chase Lee getting ready to begin his outing for Bethesda. He sets chest high and delivers. Bunt put down, foul to the left side. And so it's 0-1 with 2 down. Chase Lee, of course, getting plenty of exposure to the SEC competition down in the southeastern United States at the University of Alabama. So a high level of competition is what he's used to. Here comes the 0-1. And this one chopped to the right side, fair. Played on a bounce by Lee. He'll underhand to first in time to get a sprinting Dalton Martin. So we go top 9, T-Bolts trail 5-3 on the T-Bolts Radio Network presented by CQ.
Tyler's been in 2 games, pitched 2 innings, no runs, no hits, no walks, struck out 2, has a 1-0 record with 1 save in the playoffs to date, and he was the pitcher on the hill when the Thunderbolts won the 2nd game against the DC Grays at the Nats Academy to save that 10-9 marathon game in which the Thunderbolts went on to this series against the Bethesda Big Train.
So, Matt Thomas, Drew Hemrock, and Tate Soderstrom coming to the plate here in the top of the 9th. T-Bolts continue to trail by 2. Dive ball winds and delivers to the plate. And there's a called strike on that top portion of the zone. The count is 0-1 here on Matt Thomas, who tonight has got 2 hits, 1 a single and 1 a double. He's 2 for 4. And here's the 0-1. That'll miss just outside. The count now even 1-1.
So in the bottom of the 9th, the Thunderbolts are scheduled to send up Cole Freeze, Corey Rozier, and Brady Perry against Chase Lee.
1-1 on the way, and that misses down and away. So it's now 2-1 with nobody on and nobody down, top of the 9th, in a game that has really taken our breath away.
It's been a good one.
2-1 pitch on the way, and there's a ball just a little bit low and outside. So the count now 3-1 on Matt Thomas.
Trying to stay away from Thomas.
Clearly, I mean, Thomas is 2 for 4. A good hitter, no doubt. Everybody in this Bethesda team is. Here's the 3-1, and this one's lashed to the right side towards the corner, and that is a fair ball. Getting down up against the wall and going over to plate is Miller Green, and heading into second base standing is Matt Thomas.
So Thomas with a double that just stays inside the line, and a leadoff double, and that could be a very big run if Bethesda gets this in.
Well, let's see what happens as Tyler Diebold tries to dig out of it. Drew Hemrock tonight is 3 for 4. He's a homer away from the cycle. So with a man at second base and nobody down, T-Bolts trail by 2. Tyler Diebold of the Bolts on the mound.
Well, I think they'll let Hamrock hit away. No, he does show bunt.
He takes it for a strike and now gets away from Trainer, goes over to get it, but not in time to hold the runner, who advances down to third. So Matt Thomas now 90 feet away from the plate with nobody down, and Tyler Diebold is reeling.
So a leadoff double to right. Now the runner is at third, and we'll see if that's a passed ball or a wild pitch.
1-0.
Ball.
Yes. Pass ball is the call. 1-0 count. Here comes the pitch, and there's a called strike. So the count now even 1-1 on Drew Hemrock.
He needs a strikeout or a pop-up or a ground ball as the infield is in to try to cut the run off.
1-1. Diebold kicks and delivers. A big swing and a miss. They're going to have to make the throw down to first, and they do, as the scoreboard read 1-1, but I presume, did he hit that ball fair? Is that what happened? Or was it 1-2? Did we miss something?
No, I have the count as 1-1.
That's what I had. Did he hit that ball fair and it was a dribbler?
He must have been.
Wow. Well, that is a 2-3 putout, and that works just as well with one down and a runner at third.
So it looked like it was a missed swing and a strike, but it must have been a little dribbler in front of the plate, so that works out for Diebold.
First pitch on the way to Tate Soderstrom. A called strike down the middle. The count is 0-1 with one down. Tonight, Soderstrom is 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch back in the 7th. Oh, excuse me. Fox Simone's in for Tate Soderstrom. My bad.
He's taken over for the DH there.
That's right. And the next pitch, a big swing and a miss. And the count is now 0-2. That's right. Simone's came in for
to run for Soderstrom in that tumultuous inning.
After the tempers were flaring. So the count is 0-2. Man at third, one down. Here comes the pitch. That's up high. And so we move to a 1-2 count. One down, runner at third. And a 1-2 count here on Fox Simone's. Here's the pitch, and that's down low. So it evens up 2-2.
Some vociferous disagreement from the crowd, and I know the voice leading it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Tyler needs this one.
2-2 pitch on the way to the plate, and that'll be swung on and missed on high heat. And there are 2 down here after the K of Fox Simone.
That was a big strikeout for Tyler Diebold, because now they're going to need a hit or, yes, they're going to need a hit or some kind of error or pass ball or wild pitch to score the run.
Yeah, that's the only way.
If he can pitch out of this, that'll bring some momentum back into the Thunderbolts in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, that's all the Bolts can hope for here as Tyler Diebold tries to enforce his will on Keith Torres. Man at third, 2 down. Here comes the pitch. That misses down low and away, and the count is 1-0. Torres tonight, single and walked, got an RBI and a ground out back in the 7th. Overall, he is 1 for 3 with a walk. And the 1-0 on the way. There's a ball a little bit high. Very close pitch. The count is 2-0. Man at third, 2 down. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. That's up high. And so it's 3-0 on Keith Torres.
Well, that was clearly a high ball.
Definitely. The other pitch was a little bit closer, the prior pitch. 3-0, 2 down, runner at third. Here's the pitch. That's down low and away, and a 4-pitch walk to Keith Torres. That's the second time tonight he has gotten a base on balls. And that gives way to Darius Foster with runners at the corners and 2 down. Foster tonight, 1 for 3. He also walked back in the second. Two down, runners at the corners as Tyler Dieball tries to figure this out. Now, trainer takes time to show him the signs, and we're set to go.
Well, 2 down. The train has been very good with runs and hits with 2 outs, but Dieball really has to get out of this one.
First pitch to Darius Foster on the way, and that misses down and in to count 1-0.
Foster has walked and is otherwise 0 for 3 tonight.
The count 1-0 with 2 down. Dieball sets and sends it to the plate. Runner goes to second, and they give it to him. And that's understandable. You don't want the throw to get away.
Dieball trying to be a little too fancy here.
Tough to say what's going on with Tyler Dieball. It may just be the pressure of everything coming down on him.
Well, he's been in tough situations before. He just needs to ring up a strike here.
Here comes the 2-0, and that's up high.
Foster walks a lot, and Dieball now is in danger of loading the bases for Cade Hunter, who has a single and 4 times up tonight.
So a 3-0 count here on Darius Foster. Dieball kicks and delivers. And there's a called strike at the inside corner. The count 3-1.
So Foster, I'm almost sure, will be taking.
Would not be surprising. 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Fouled straight back on a red dead fastball. And the count goes full 3-2 with runners on second and third.
That's what you're going to see here.
Yeah, I would expect the same. 3-2 the count with runners on second and third. Top of the 9th inning. 2 down. T-Bolts trail by 2 runs, 5-3. Here's the full count delivery. That bounces in, gets away, and a run will come in to score, and it's also a walk. So the wild pitch ends up bringing in a run for Bethesda, and it's 6-3.
So a pass ball and a wild pitch and 2 walks. And I have to say, with Chase Lee on the mound, this just about puts the game away for the big train.
It would take somewhat of a miracle. So Cade Hunter steps in, 0 for 4 tonight. Runners at the corners with 2 down. 6-3 Bethesda. And Tyler Dieball sets and delivers. There's a called strike down the middle. And the count is 0-1 with 2 down.
So that run really hurts.
Oh, yeah. That's a stinger.
Because if you got a runner on and then somebody went long, that ties the game. Now that's not the case.
Really, really hurts. Throw over to first, not in time. The T-Bolts are going to have to defy the odds once again if they are going to come back in this ball game.
Yeah, we can talk about that should the T-Bolts lose this after the game's over.
We know there's some weather that could potentially affect whether we play tomorrow.
So no balls and 1 strike to Hunter, just as we thought it was before. Got to be disappointing to the big crowd here. Thunderbolts not giving up yet. I see Doug Reamer still pretty active in the...
Here's the 0-1. It misses outside. Runner goes down to second uncontested. So it's now 1-1. Cade Hunter trying to get aboard for the first time tonight. 2 in scoring position now with 2 down. and here comes the pitch. This one tapped on the ground, down to first, played off the glove of Gallo, going over Dalton Martin. He gets to first in time to record the out. So the ball was off the glove of Tony Gallo, deflected over to Dalton Martin, and Martin fires to a covering die ball to record the out. So that's officially going to go 3-4-1. Woo. My goodness. It just keeps getting weirder.
It does, but a big run for the Big Train in that inning. And now they lead by 3. And why don't we keep it here and just look at what the Thunderbolts have to do. They'll have Freeze, Rozier, and Paris up. And against Chase Lee, I think that's still him, isn't it? Yes, it is. But now they have to come up with 3 runs. And at first they have to get base runners. And if the Thunderbolts do go on to lose this one, we have to look at the bottom of the 7th inning. And what I thought was the pivotal play of the game, and that was the 1-2 strikeout by Lyle Miller Green.
Yeah, it's tough. That's
a tough play. And then Lucas Donlin half swings, and the ball goes down to Cade Hunter, and that's the end of that. And then you look at what the Big Train has done with their base running opportunities, and when they've been given runners, they've scored. And
just a matter of hitting when you have guys on base. That's the difference.
But it's getting the guys on base. The leadoff hit by pitcher in the 7th, and then there was a fly out, and then the triple by Hamrock. And you have to give Hamrock credit. He's 3 for 5 tonight. Then another hit batter, and then the sacrifice and the strikeout. But by that time, 2 runs had come in. And then the one here in the top of the 9th, which could just be the nail that sealed the coffin for the Thunderbolts unless they come back here.
Well, it all comes down to the bottom of the 9th. One way or another, this game will end.
Yes.
Just like to point that out.
Okay.
Tonight it sort of seems like this game would never end at some points because of all the drama.
So the crowd giving Cole Freeze some encouragement here in the bottom of the 9th.
As first pitch to him is fouled out of play to the right side, 0-1. Oh, now we're getting some T-Bolts chants. The crowd staying around.
Well, you never know.
Anything's possible in baseball, football, you name it. Sports are fickle like that. Lee delivers the 0-1, a big swing and a miss, and the count is 0-2.
Beautiful pitch, had Cole out in front of it.
It's like a twirling slider changeup. I don't even know exactly what to call it. The count 0-2 with nobody on and nobody down. Chase Lee delivers, and a big swing and a miss, 1 down.
So Cole Freeze goes down swinging, and now the top of the order, Corey Rozier.
Rozier and Paris will be the final gasps of breath for the T-Bolts with 2 more outs to work with. Bethesda on the verge of knotting this series up at 1 apiece to set up a rubber match winner-take-all. Here comes the first pitch, and that's down low for a ball to Corey Rozier. Tonight, Rozier is 1 for 4 at a single back in the 5th, right up the middle. And the 1-0 pitch on the way to the plate, and that'll miss down and in. So it's now 2-0 on Corey Rozier. Rozier just trying to get aboard any way he can. He'll take whatever Lee will give him. T-Bolts in need of base runners, about as much as you can be. Here comes the 2-0, and there's a called strike in the inside corner. The count 2-1.
Corey taking, just trying to get on.
2-1 the count with 1 down. Here comes the pitch, and this one is swung on and missed at the plate. Looked like for a moment he had fouled it off, but the count is now even 2-2 on Corey Rozier. Chase Lee on the mound. 1 down, bases clear. T-Bolts in need of 3 runs, down 6-3.
Now, what would be the case if Gallo had not been ruled to have been hit by the pitch and the Thunderbolts down by a run in that inning?
Who knows? Here comes the 2-2, and there's a called strike 3 on a backdoor breaking ball. Wow. And it all comes down to Brady Puri. Puri will bat with 2 down and no one aboard. T-Bolts down by 2. They need a miracle, folks. Otherwise, they're headed to Game 3. First pitch is a strike.
Oh, what a pitch.
Inside corner, and it tailed back to the zone like few pitches can. The count 0-1. And here it comes. That misses down and away. It's even 1-1 on Brady Puri. Tonight, Puri had that 2 RBI homer back in the 5th that tied this ball game.
Yeah, brought this crowd to life in an electric moment.
1-1. Lee delivers. This one tapped to the ground, back to Lee. He plays it on a hop, fires to first, and Bethesda takes Game 2. It's pushed back farther.
Well, it can't.
That's true. Of course, we can't play past August 1st, but we know that there's bad weather in the mix tomorrow.
We can't play past July 31st. That is the ultimate dead date.
Right, and tomorrow being July 31st
Right.
and bad weather in the mix, what do?
Well, you do what they did last year and declare co-champions, but we're not there yet. And I find this odd that the two teams are not shaking hands. They didn't do this last night. The coaches are. There goes Marcus Johnson, and there's some embraces there. And Colangelo, I presume, shook hands with the Thunderbolt coaches. There's Brian Brewer, I think, now that the game's over. So this is a little strange. I don't know why they're doing this, but they did this last night, too. Both teams repaired to their respective baselines. So now each coach talking to each team, and we'll see what they're talking about tomorrow about how the game will be approached. So let's just keep it here for the moment and talk about what we saw tonight. I'm going to go first. I think the Thunderbolts did not make the most of their opportunities. The Big Train did. Give the Big Train credit for several critical 2-out hits. The Thunderbolts got those hits last night. The Big Train got them tonight. The Thunderbolts had an opportunity in the 7th to make some noise, but they just could not do it. And that, in a nutshell, forget the top of the 9th run. That was just an icing on the cake. But they didn't cash in on their chances. The Big Train did. Then when the Big Train had the lead, their pitchers came in and shut down. Thunderbolt pitchers, a little more of a struggle. And hit by pitchers, walks again. Let's see what the lines are. The Thunderbolts walked 7. And I know they hit at least 2. I think, let's see, they hit, I think they just hit 1, 2. Yeah, they hit 2 tonight, but it was a very critical hit by pitch, and then there was the Tony Gallo incident. So some nights it's your night, and some nights it's their night. It was their night tonight. I think they did play better. There's no doubt about it. And so now we...
Ryan Okuda would not be a surprise.
Is he eligible? That's the question.
That's a great question. I could not tell you. We're going to try and find that out as time goes on until tomorrow.
I think they set it up so that it would be Ponce tonight and Okuda tomorrow. Now,
it sounds about right.
Now the question is, who are the Thunderbolts going to pitch tomorrow?
Man, that's a tough question. I could see them going Braden Kale. I feel like he's the best choice considering the circumstances. I think Yash Rain is also in the mix.
Well, I think Alex Mykett, if we can get an idea, and I don't want to do it right now and take up the time, but how many pitches he threw and if he would be eligible to pitch, because he pitched very well in his outing against the Grays. And that's a possibility. Just looking down the Thunderbolts roster of pitchers, he starts to get a little thin. Charles